Master B, how are you?
What's up,
That
man? Yeah,
sounds
see, there
weird.
you go. There you go.
I shouldn't say that. I think that's the first time I've called you Master B, and it just doesn't. That doesn't work. There's a
Well,
you're
remember on Married with Children, there was Grandmaster B when Bud
there.
was rapping. I actually have a figure of that from um what was that dude's name? Waking the Dead Customs, dude. I don't know if you've seen that dude or not. I think he made a post within the last maybe month or so where he's saying that he's done making toys. Period.
Oh,
But
fair.
he had some really cool stuff, dude. He did like every single character from like Blood In, Blood Out, like that old gang movie. Yeah, dude, he had some really cool stuff, but he was cool. Yeah, ooh, the chat on the screen. I know, man. Look at that. Look at us
I
all.
think I was part of a gang movie called Blood In, Blood Out too, but it was different.
Yeah, too easy, too easy, man. What's up with you, dude?
Well, just chilling. It's nice to be back this week. Yo, so okay, I'm gonna clear the air on a few things. One, from now on, fucking Sunday, we're getting this shit set up. So because I appreciate that the internet wants to make sure that like everything is being authenticated and that the right people are logging in and everything. But when you're in the great outdoors camping and it's sending a verification request to iPhone YouTube while I'm in the fucking waiting room for the hospital being told I'm being admitted, that doesn't help us very much because we had homies that were all down to fucking hop in and rock the toy show. Jazz was willing to do it. Death and Strawberries was willing to do it. And then, of course, for some reason, in the great freaking creation of YouTube, there's like a secondary dummy account that you accidentally logged into when you tried to like do like the recovery on Monday or something or
I didn't even. It's even dumber than that, dude. So regardless of what happened with yours, we had a chance to make it up on Sunday, which we kind of halfway did, right? So basically, what happened was when I went into Streamyard, um, I just totally spaced on the step where it asks us. I don't know if it still does it on your end. On yours, it might just default to the correct one, but it reads both of those accounts, and so it asks you which one do you want to stream to.
yeah,
And I
same
just
thing.
no
Yeah.
brained it, dude. Didn't even think about it. Hit the wrong one, and I instantly knew something was wrong right away, dude. Because when we went live, there was 0 people in there, dude, and that is not a good feeling, dude. To go on live and there's nobody there, and then you wait a couple minutes and nobody's still there. I'm like, oh man, this ain't cool.
And
Like what?
you've messed something up, but you don't know what.
Because it didn't come out on our regular channel, so people were searching for it and
Yeah.
finding it, but they had to search for it. So then
Yeah.
I like it was like I was pissed off the whole show, dude. I don't even know who was in there. I think Micah and Abaddon were in there, dude. So thank you guys for hanging with me for 30 minutes or whatever it was. That was a fucking disaster. I don't know what the hell that was. But I deleted it, right? So, anyways, after the show, I go to our page, our YouTube page, to see the video on there, and it's not on there. I go to that other account, and there it is. And I'm just like, man, what a dumb move.
Hey, it happens. Whatever.
So, anyways, here we are.
So here we are.
Take 2 on 161.
That's not bad. You know what? Missing 1 week ain't bad.
It's not, but we didn't even miss it. We tried. It was there. We deleted it. We know what's up. It was there.
And okay, I've got to give homeboy at the ER here in Toronto. Fuck,
Bliss.
pretty legit move on their part. I legit tell buddy, I'm like, dude, like I'm not fucking staying overnight here. I've got a fucking toy podcast to get home and do, my G. Like I'm not sitting here and buddy I was like, homie, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you were my friend and I was not your doctor and you were asking me right now if you should be staying, you're staying. I'm like, all right. Well,
You're like, maybe you didn't hear what I said about the toy show that I do on Thursday nights.
Apparently you don't understand how important this fucking toy show is. Yeah.
Well, not everybody gets it, man. Not
everyone gets it.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
Jeez,
So,
man.
anyways, dude, there's a.
Oh, thanks, B. Right about to say something important, all of a sudden just drops me high and dry sitting here. There's leaves me. So yeah, if you guys don't already know, we're gonna be sitting tonight with Fixed Temple Toys. Did I say it? I've got scrambled egg brains at the moment, so I feel like I'm tripping on everything.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, dude?
I just wanted to be on this side of the screen, honestly, dude. So I just
Is that what it is?
thought I'd hop out, hop back in.
Do we normally do it this way? Is this normally how we
know.
are? I can't remember anymore.
Anyways. I think it's I don't know how it does that. But anyways, no, I swiped the wrong way on the screen there and closed it. So anyways, I was trying to scroll up and see who was in here already. But I don't want to fuck that
shoot.
Yet, so maybe you can scroll to the top and
you know what? Yeah. What are we doing here?
What are you doing?
Rude ass. Mike, what's going on? Brilliant Demon, what's going on? Super Terrible Toys, Abaddon 40, Eric Folker's Pedals. Great answer on the giveaway question this week, by the way, homie. Zamitko, what is going on? If you guys haven't seen yet, their drop for tomorrow looks absolutely gorgeous. Pope Toys cooking up some absolute freaking beauties over there. Jazz Wizard has a new account. The old account back up and running. Hobo Toys, what is up? Fucked Toys, what's going on, dude? I didn't mean to ignore your message. I'm just getting back to regular broadcasts up top here. Toyzday, what up? Bootleg Toyco, how are you? Headcase Toys, what is going on? Cool Cat Toyco, how are you? Do we miss any? Bliss Receptor, Jazz Wiz, Fuck Toys, Toyzday, Bootleg Toyco, Cool Cat Toyco. I think we got them all.
Nice, well done. What up, everybody? Bootleg Toyco, I did get the box. I just got it yesterday, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much, man. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Still no end in sight to this fucking mail debacle that's going on, but slowly but surely pieces are coming in. So thank you for that, man. That was God, dude, we'll take a look at that probably next week. I had already sent the post out of what we were doing this week, but that Obaki coffin, dude, whoo.
Rakoba Shoe, what is going on? I missed on the opportunity for some I was hoping to meet up with Von Fake Name again. Von Fake ended up having some of the Roko stuff. I hoped LM9 would have some Roko stuff, so I missed on some Roko stuff. But okay, so Doc Horror, and I feel the need to do this because Homeboy is kind of new to our neck of the woods and stuff. So like they haven't quite had an opportunity to show off their work a whole bunch. But first off, this was one of the first pieces that I ended up getting from them. And this was one of like their OG sculpts they ended up casting up that I thought was just absolutely fucking really cool. But check out this piece they actually had at the toy show this weekend. So I can open this one because this one was actually for me. So I'm actually gonna go for it. But I thought this is such a fucking cool concept, dude. And there's another one that's here for a buddy that they're the like OG gray color. I'll pull them out in a second. But of course, I pull up to Buddy's table right off the hop. They're just kind of like, yo, I know you like black and white ones, man. So I made you a black and white set of these. Fucking playset mode, dude. Easter Island heads. Dude, check.
Did you say that was from Von Fake Name?
This is Doc Horror.
Oh, Doc Horror. Nice.
Dude, look at that fucking sculpt, man. And then, of course, the base is shaped like Easter Island. Like get out of here, man.
And is that magnet on there?
Oh, it sure as heck is.
Oh, dude, that's
little rocks on the base and stuff, too. Check
this, dude, I dig that.
What's this other one? This is the one with the like the OG colorway. But look at the fucking base on that green with the little tiny fucking stone sitting there. Exactly. Ooh, nice. Exactly. Sorry, I just know the dude's kind of newer, but fucking talented, man. Flying under the radar. I think, anyways.
And it all comes as a package in there, yeah?
Yeah, it comes like a little playset pack.
Yeah,
some stickies in there as well. Fucking round-ass header card on there.
Yeah, dude, look at that. Nice, bagged up stickers. Dude, what a nice package that is. Dude. Damn.
The Canadian boys, homie. It's hard not to be. There's a couple other goodies to show off there later, But I wanted to make sure. I saw him hop into the chat there, and I wanted to make sure we catch them. Because, like I said, a little bit newer to the scene, and just pumping out some fucking good shit, man.
Yeah, dude. He said, I thought I saw a message in there, and I didn't open it yet. I don't know if you opened it or not. I thought he said something about he didn't have baseball tonight, so I was curious. I was going to follow up on that. Like, tell me more, bro. What's that all about? What's going on there?
He's got little humans that play sports.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Love it. That's cool.
Awesome.
But those, dude, the magnetic base, dude. God, weren't we just talking about that a few weeks ago? We were talking about the Dark Rainbow, the Godzilla versus Lord God set, and how he came back around a second time through and redid the packaging. And that's one thing that he added, was the magnets on the bottom of the feet. To the base, how it stands in the package, man. The other one that I really like, and the guy who's coming back, dude, is Cronin Builder, right? I don't know if you tabbed anything from him, but Cronin Builder, dude, and that's one guy that it doesn't show it in his post, but I don't know if these new ones have it, but at least everything that I have from him has magnets in the bottom of the feet. And they're solid, dude. They're still solid, and that was probably, man, dude, that's probably going on, 4 or 5 years now. Some of those pieces, so. Baseball fiends, yeah, nice, dude.
It's kind of crazy to think how like the years have gone around now. Even some of the dudes that we're seeing coming out right now, it's sick to see like some of the work that's coming out. It's crazy sometimes when people name drop people from like the 2008 era, and all of a sudden you look at the pieces and it'll be like a 5-point figure with insane fucking magnetic articulation, points everywhere, header cards,
or even like what they used to be, right, dude? Because like, so I got a and I think I've showed it on the show here at one point. I got a 5.5 has no talent piece, and it's old, dude, and it's like straight up, magnetically articulated, and it's on a 5.5 Motu piece, and so the magnets on those are real deep in like the hip sockets. And it's a tricky piece, man, but it's dope. And I mean, when's the last time that dude made his own, magnetically articulated 5.5? No time that I can remember,
Admittedly, when we reflect back, I sometimes feel like a little bitch because like my first wasn't as indie, so to speak. Like, do you know Gummy Fetus or Jason Freeney?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, bro. Straight up.
So the reality is that like when IG first kind of came to the scene, Homie was posting on there just like anybody else was posting on there. And it wasn't until I saw that his X-ray sculpts got picked up by who the heck ended up licensing it? He ended up getting the licensing agreement on all the little My Little Pony ones for those mystery blank boxes that were sold in like stores and shit. And I remember when I saw that he got like the official license on those, I just remember feeling dumb. That was kind of the best way I can put it. It was almost kind of like watching a peer or a friend all of a sudden get signed to a label and you never once went to their show. It just kind of felt dumb. And I remember just kind of being like, nah, like I never want to see that happen again, where I watch somebody go from like Homie work to all of a sudden getting a license with like a legit corporate piece, and I'm now just one more,
Yeah, dude. It's funny that you bring up Gummy Fetus. I'm gonna look at that. We're gonna look at a piece from Hobo Toys tonight, and it's just and the way that piece is set up. I even mentioned it maybe last week or the week before when we looked at it. I think we looked at the tab of it, but kind of reminded me of that in a way, just kind of the skeletal system. And it's funny, dude. It's on it's that Bambi piece. And for whatever reason, it's the same old Skeletor head that, you know what I mean, that you've seen a million times. But when it's in that setup, for some reason, it has that kind of vibe to it of the skeletal system all of a sudden. So, but yeah, dude, those are sick, man. Dude, those pieces are real sick, dude. He's got some really cool ones, dude. Like the balloon animals and shit. You know what I mean? That's just cool.
Yeah. Again, it feels late to the party now. That's the best way I can always report it.
Mm.
That's why I said like it just feels like a little bitch when I think of like those pieces. Now I'm just kind of like, yeah. Again, it's kind of like Nike shoes are comfortable. It's kind of like, oh no shit, aren't you a real trendsetter? You know what I mean? It's I don't know, man. It just
Well,
rubs
the
my
other way to look at
own.
that is the other way to look at that is say he's still going strong. He's still doing it, dude. He's still, people that see that for the first time, their mind's probably fucking blown. You know what I mean?
I definitely
Time.
I try not to get butthurt about the fact they've done that stuff. The irony of it will never not be hilarious to me. Fuck, at the AGO, the Art Gallery of Ontario, they have this separate section at one point. It was like the cost show, and it was like the family show, and some other artist, and his exhibit was called like Art is for Everyone, and the irony being that it was extra to see that exhibit. You
Mm.
pay your admittance to go into the whole rest of the gallery. You want to go see that section literally called Artists for Everyone? Extra $5, please. It was just like the weird irony of it was just fucking jokes, man. But
Mm.
like at the same time, yeah, seeing somebody like Cost being in like an art gallery like that, it is hard not to have that moment of kind of like, fuck yeah, man, get it. Like as like I'm not gonna hate on you, like fucking get it, dog. Feed that fam, you know?
Mm. You know who we should ask about this is Fixed Temple Toys. Anybody got his number? Oh, look at
You
that.
want
He's in the waiting room. How about that?
it has this is one of the first times I think that I'm not sitting here like, come on, B, like fucking
I know.
gotta
Well, I'm
wait.
looking at the clock. I'm like, it's 6:17. I'm just like, how have you not pulled him in yet, dude? What is wrong with you? You're going against the grain, man.
Right. Don't and anyway, you ready to come on in here, homie?
There we go.
Hey, what up?
Hey, what's up, you guys?
All right, before we
What
get
is
carried
happening?
away, introduce yourself to the homies all sitting in the chat there.
I am Fixed Temple Toys. My name's Colton, and I create the Toys Glorbles and other things as well, but mainly right now just different variations of Glorbles until different factions of that lore universe come out. So
I gotta interrupt you right off the hop, homie. One, that helmet behind you is clean as fuck. Two, those pieces on that shelf are bigger than I expected. We always end up saying that, but those look fucking bigger than expected.
which ones?
The dudes on behind your left shoulder. Also, are those titties? Neat.
Yeah,
Mode.
that's a wheat paste collaboration between Dead Cell and that behind it is like it's on a big piece of wood, but he hand painted that big piece of wood with a stoplight on it, and then years later, after he gave that to me, I bought the wheat paste and put the wheat paste over that painting, and it just goes together perfect. So
Dude, I thought for sure that you were gonna have that on when we went live here. I
yeah.
don't know if I've ever seen you without that on, dude. I've seen you at multiple designer cons, and you always have that on. And I remember, I think we talked about it at one point, and you said how much that thing has done for you as far as just like recognition. Um, when did you start using that?
Probably, I want to say it was my second or third designer con that I had
Mm.
ever gone to. I didn't have it at my first, but I had it at my second, and then now it's like something I feel like I've got to bring to all of them. But it doesn't quite like it's two halves that magnetize together, and I thought that if I did that, I'd be able to pull it apart in half and put it in my suitcase, but it still doesn't fit in there. So I end up having to check that as a second luggage, and it's like costing me a fortune to and from wherever I go, but it's been worth it. Yeah.
Is it not hot as all fuck in there? Like, let's be real.
Oh yeah, and that's why I'm surprised. He's like, I've never seen you without it. I'll wear this here and there at the con to like walk around and like greet people and stuff like that. But most of the time, like I can't have this thing on for too long because yeah, it gets hot, and my only line of sight, if I can kind of see, is this little top of the mouth right here is mesh. is black mesh. And that's what I see out of. So I also have to be careful, like, as I'm walking, that I'm not like kicking little kids or like tripping over booths or stuff like that. But
Well, the helmet makes it a taller, but you're tall anyways, right?
yeah, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'2".
Yeah. So
Also,
yeah.
you French?
No.
All right.
Why do you ask that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tall, nitty, mustache. I was just
Okay.
putting the pieces together. Here in Canada, that basically screams French Canadian. Yeah.
He's the
Well, I'm
only
in
French
Oregon,
dude
so,
named.
like,
He's the only French dude named Colton on the face of the earth, dude.
Colton.
That's very French. It's a very French name.
kind of close to Canada, I guess. So I don't know, maybe.
Oh, that's funny. Where are you, dude? Are you in the States, right?
Yeah, I'm in Oregon. So I'm in Salem, about an hour from Portland.
Oh, nice. Okay. Right on. Dang. Okay, West Coast.
And quite the mixed media artist. Did you do that fucking the light behind you as well? The one, I don't know any words. Yeah, that thingy.
No, I didn't make
No?
that myself. No, I bought that.
What?
Dude,
I had it made, I should say.
Yeah, those neon places, man. Those are cool. You said that's a Gorbel, dude. So tell us about that. I mean, God, I guess we could just start there, man. I mean, when you introduce yourself, you said that's kind of you're the creator of that. So tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the first toy that I had ever made or come out with, but that's the one that I'd come out with that kind of like started doing pretty well. I've only been making toys, I guess, probably coming up on 4 years now, 3 or 4 years. And that's the one that seemed to kind of do the best collector wise. And also the lore of them being kind of ectoplasmic, shape shifting creatures, which were a nostalgic influence of childhood things that I loved, like Flubber and Kirby, juxtapositioned with The Thing and Alien and kind of stuff like that. Let me see if I have any. I've got a kind of a bigger 3D printed of the original one, but this is what the original one had looked like, and it was just kind of this screaming mouth, not much of a body, but the whole thing is kind of the face and the body is one. And with the lore of it being kind of a shape-shifting type thing, it allowed me the wiggle room to be able to do all kinds of different variations and cross meshes with different things. Like I've done a global Bulbasaur, I've done a global Darth Maul, and the face, I'm able to kind of just take this main face and mash it onto all kinds of different stuff, and it still translates really nicely. And I've kind of just built a universe around that character, with different, I the whole costume that I first started wearing was the global head and the suit, which I had called the global agent, which is part of this like administration that's kind of going up against the global invasion. But part of the process of globals is that they can attach to your head and in likeliness of the thing kind of replicate your DNA and take over things that way before they can fully replicate. So it's been fun writing all the lore and different things like that are included with it. I have a lot of fun with that.
What is that?
Well,
I mean, I know what that is, but like, tell me about that.
This figure?
Yes.
That was the first outfit that I had worn with the mask to Decon, was me in the suit with the global head. And I had made that was a Decon only release, so I haven't made any more of those, but the hand is out so it can hold the little micro glorbals that I would cast as well.
Those are stupidly clean casts, dude.
Yes.
Are you printing those or casting those?
So the micro is casted. The actual global character, that one is 3D printed.
Clean, dog.
Dude, that is sick though, man. And then painted by you?
Yeah. And majority of my stuff is casted. I very rarely will do 3D prints unless it's for like small run. Yeah,
Dude.
that's a Resin Rookie collab double cast. That was the peanut butter and jelly.
Mm,
So it's totally smooth on the outside. You don't
yes,
feel those little drips at all. They're
for
all within it.
sure.
So
Dude, yes. I dig that, man. That's dope. We just looked at some Motley Ooh, shit. There was another one back there. We
yeah.
looked at some Motley Miscreation stuff last week, dude. We kind of got into oh my god,
These
dude.
double casts.
Get the fuck, dude. Come on now.
You're right about how this character translates really nicely, man. Like, so personally, between the double casts and then even your paint app ones, like even putting those faces on it there translates well. Which also, did you do the paint apps on these? Because they're fucking gorgeous.
No, those are Surge and Destroy customs. The Ninja Turtle ones, yeah.
Insane, dude.
Dude, so man, you mentioned the versatility of fucking A, bro. Look at that. Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Yeah, shout out to Resin Rookie. He is the double cast king.
Straight up, dude. That is nice. Ooh. Shit. Wow. Those are smooth, man. Having a character like that, dude, like that is so, like you said, man, you can do anything with that. You can do anything with it, like in that, like even like if you broke it up, right, and just went like double cast, man, I think there's like a shitload of stuff you could do with that, right? Or adding them to other characters. How long, like, was that the goal all along, to find something that would just be, I mean, I don't even know how you wrap your mind around doing something that transcends to like every single thing that we're talking about.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, one thing for me is it's always, sometimes it's hard for me to like something that I've done for very long. You know what I mean? Like I might be stoked on a design and then a few months later, a year later, I don't really like it as much. And Glorbles have been one of those things where I just like, I myself really like it. And that's one of the things I kind of focus on when I make stuff before anything else, is making something that I like and that I would want to have on my shelf. And then hoping that translates to other people, as well as like, I hope that the nostalgic influences translate, because that's the same like generation and people that I'm trying to reach. Is like, obviously this doesn't look like Kirby, but do you still feel that, that Kirby vibe to it? Do you still get that kind of alien, weird, flubbery type vibe? And if that translates, then I'm succeeding. And that's been really the main thing of it, and it's not, the universe now is like I've got another faction I plan on coming out with within the universe, which is like they're different from Glorbles, but I call them fanatics. And they're going to be this kind of like religious fanatic cult that worships the Glorbles and believes that like the global reset is a good thing, and they willingly give their souls up to these soul-sucking Glorbles because, for the better good. And then you have the other faction that's against it. And so I'll be rolling out different things within the same universe, but I think they'll always be, different type of Glorbles, different things, like different ones being identified. I have a lot of fun with, the lore of it more than anything.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. I think Crumbs probably knows a couple off the top of his head too, man. But anytime, we mentioned Cronin Builder earlier, that's a dude who like really built a crazy world. Vomiting Droids is another one. But anytime that I think, kind of go with the lore part of it, man, it just adds so much more to the characters. I think that sometimes that even, maybe that even sells like more versions of them, instead of having just one. It's like with those, man, I could see wanting to collect like a whole bunch of, like if you had different color Reds and cast ones, which I'm sure you do, or double cast ones, and just getting the whole line like that. People like, big collectors, dude, like Dead Boy, dude. I'm sure that he has some of your stuff in there too. But
Hey, I'm splitting a booth with him at Collecticon next
Oh,
month.
no way.
So, yeah.
Dude, have you seen his YouTube videos of his collection?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Is that
crazy.
just stupid or what?
Yeah.
Bro, you know what's so cool though, man, is like when he does the tour of it, like, and you can point out everybody that you know what I mean? And he's like really good at kind of grouping his stuff together. But the space that dude has and the volume of stuff that he gets is just, it's mind-boggling, dude. It's super, super cool. But that's funny, man. You're tabling with him. That's cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm calling you guys out because of the amount of mouth noises this evening between B's and you're over down there. Jeez Louise, my dudes. Holy crap. Like,
dude, okay.
YouTube's gonna take this off afterwards thinking we just posted some kind of like guy on guy pornography or something.
Oh my god. Okay, see, that's it, dude. So nobody's thinking about that except for you, right? But when you see dope double cast stuff like that, dude, you can't just say holy shit every 2 seconds, and cut the guy off. So what do you can't just sit there and stay silent. I mean, it doesn't deserve that at all. You gotta do something. But man, that's dope, dude. So so before the Gorble, what was it before that?
Let me see if I have one actually.
I was at the ready with the mold
that was
bad boy.
That was
here.
the first one were these little guys. And I made the bases and put the little LED light and smoothed it all inside there, so when it lights up, it kind of lights the whole.
Interesting.
Dude.
That's an interesting choice, man. It's fucking smart. Just
you don't
different.
make those anymore, or you do make those?
I do not. I do not. There's a few left over on like Isle of Misfit Toys has some.
Oh no
I
shit!
believe are still on her website, but yeah, those were some of the first things that I ever casted or ever made, and that was with the help of Being Large in Art. She was up in Portland, and I was fortunate enough to go up and learn how to do all this molding and casting from her.
Yeah.
So.
What? Tell me about the dude, the Portland scene up there, man. It seems like it's pretty popping out there as far as indie toys go. I mean, with the stuff that Buona Spoons does. I don't know if you ever go to that stuff and get involved in those shows that he does out there. Or
yeah, I just did Gam Jam last year.
Gam Jam, yeah.
And that's where I had initially, had met up with Kachina. And then I went over to Kachina's house and he ran me through different airbrushing techniques and stuff like that. Really, really cool guy. Dope. But yeah, I actually just talked to Buona. I went to Floating World last weekend with Frank Montano, who had come down and was staying at my house and hanging out for a few days. I don't think he'd been to Floating World. So we went to Floating World and Buona was actually there. So we got to talk and yeah, so I hopefully we'll be doing Gam Jam again this year. Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, the Portland scene, I'm trying to meet up with connect with the different artists that do that kind of stuff here. I know Motley's not far from me. I haven't met up with him yet, but hopefully Tramped is in Portland, but I guess he's moving to England at the end of the month. Which is a bummer. I love that guy. I wish I would have had a little bit more time to hang out and go check out his collection before everything was packed up. But yeah, as far as stores, there's really just Floating World, man. Like Cult PDX no longer exists. I'm not really aware of any other stores that sell designer toys. Future Shock was another one that had, a little bit of a collection. They just closed down. So we need more.
Is Gam Jam, is that at a store in a mall?
Yeah. So Lloyd Center Mall is like most malls around here, they're dead, man. Like you walk through Lloyd Center and it's like a ghost town. Like I posted a video and people thought that I had like somehow gotten into a mall that was abandoned or something. I'm like, no, all the stores are closed up. There's barely anybody there. And then you have this gem of Floating World Comics that's upstairs. Like, there's some people there because there's an ice skating rink, so that still gets a little bit of traction. But yeah, so Gam Jam, at least last year, was in Ulta. Because the Ulta space, I should say. Ulta's not there anymore, but it's a big, large space within the Lloyd Center Mall, and that's where Gam Jam was last year. And I mean, again, I don't live in Portland, I can't really say, but I would feel like that was probably the most people that had been in Lloyd Center in a while.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I remember years back, I have a bunch of family in Oregon, and but more in Southern Oregon. And I remember going up to passing through like Rogue Valley Mall at one point and just going there and everything was closed. I'm like, dude, what happened to this place? And it seemed like it happened so quick. That used to be, I mean, that was like the only thing out there for a while. And it's just like, it's just desolate now, man. I don't even know if it's still there. Who knows?
Yeah, it's strange. It's very like back rooms.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, man, so you started off with that stuff. Now, do you have like sculpting or anything in your background, or how did you get into just toy making kind of in general?
So it started off with like, I did a lot of street art stuff in Portland. A lot of stickers, a lot of wheat paste, things like that. And the initial global design was a wheat paste character that I would do. And then I had a gallery show in Portland at this place called PD Exchange. And that's when I did a global that was like on a wood cut. So I had cut it out of wood, and that was like a little bit closer to 3D. And then I wanted to make just some little micro globals to be able to sell with the sticker packs that I sold in Portland. And then after I casted some, they started selling, and I had met Bean, and she introduced me to Boozin' Buddies, which I don't know if you guys remember Boozin' Buddies.
Oh yeah, dude. Are they still around?
They're not. But I had my first toy show on Boozin' Buddies where I sold a ton of globals that first night, and I was like, oh wow, there's a scene for this. At that point, I'd never heard of Designer Con. I'd never heard of I knew there was a few graffiti artists and street artists that had their own toys, and I always thought that was cool, but I had no idea that there was a scene for this type of thing at that time.
Yeah.
And I still occasionally, will do wheat paste. I love putting globals around Portland in different areas. Installs, like I just got a bigger filament printer, so hopefully I can start making some big globals I can go stash around Portland for people to find and kind of treasure hunt for and stuff like that. But mostly toys have just kind of like taken over my life. It's all I do. And besides my part-time job, which, hopefully toys will be a full-time thing eventually. I do all my sculpting on Nomad, and I don't have a background with it, but it's just been like a learning thing in the past 4 or 5 years. So
that's crazy, man. I think, have you noticed that too, Crumbs? That I think I don't want to say the majority because I really don't know. But if I can think of like 3 people off the top of my head, yourself, Bootleg Toy Co., and Acid 9 Toys, all doing really cool 3D sculpt stuff, and it sounds like all kind of self-taught doing that. Man, that's something, man. That's nuts. I had a question there for you. God dang it, what was it? What was it, Crumbs?
I mean, I had done like sculpting and stuff like that, in high school and a lot of different art classes, but I would have never thought that I was any good at sculpting with my hands. Like even if you gave me like an actual hunk of clay right now, it's tough. Being able to sculpt on an iPad digitally where like I can rotate it without putting fingerprints in it or without messing, I can keep it clean and keep it smooth and all that was really a game changer for me, at least. And it's pretty user friendly, which is nice.
Yeah, dude. We were actually talking about that a few weeks ago. And I think the other angle that we brought up too, man, is just like the versatility of it and how a lot of people are kind of stressed for time, you know what I mean, to kind of set some time aside for this, especially if it's not like your full-time gig that you're doing. You're trying to, you know, as opposed to like going to a studio or, you know, kind of locking yourself away, you can kind of do that shit on the couch or whatever and still kind of engage with other things as that's going on. But what I was going to ask you, man, if that Gorbel, since it's been around so long, have you noticed anybody that's recognizes that from the street art or that is still around from the street art days of Gorbel to what it is now, that's kind of been with you along that whole way? And how long has that time been, man? How long was it since you first started doing that to where we are now?
So the street art thing was more so in like 2015.
Okay.
And honestly, like when I had made my kind of like my toy Instagram from it, there wasn't much like interest from the street art scene that carried over to the toy stuff. It kind of seemed like those people are really into street art and only street art.
Is that probably one of like your OGs that's to the, I guess it would be over your right shoulder at the moment? Is that one of your wheat pastes?
Oh yeah, that was a collaboration between me and Urge Yourself. And he had designed that of me. He used to do these they're called cool guy battles, where he does different versions of different artists mixed with their art, and then they go up against each other in like a voting battle for people to vote on, and then whoever, you know, ends up winning ends up getting pins made or cool stuff like that. And that was one of my favorite collaboration designs. And it was from a picture of me from my first designer con, where I had that like big black hat on, and I had really long hair at that time, and it's pinned to the wall, or I'd bring it forward. But yeah, definitely a cool piece.
So I just figured, as we were talking about the wheat paste, I figured I would ask.
Yeah, that's one that I use a lot. It's neat, and it's cool to be able to tag him in pictures that I take or that other people take in Portland of it, and tag me on Facebook, and then I can tag him, and he can see that, you know, his art as well is just kind of getting spread around different places in Portland. So
it seems like up in that area, man, especially with Gam Jam and stuff, it seems like there's a lot of vinyl going on. Buona Spoons and Kachina Kachina. Have you thought about going into vinyl at all? I know a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of, but it seems like there's more and more resin artists that are maybe not going exclusively to vinyl, but are throwing a vinyl or vinyl toy in there or two.
Yeah, I've got some. These guys are vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Soft vinyl, airbrushed, but yeah. And I've got a whole bunch of different versions of these. I call them infernal Gorbels with the horns.
Yeah. Who pulls your vinyl, if you don't mind me asking?
What's that?
Who's pulling your vinyl?
So these were pulled by someone I wouldn't recommend or want to,
fair enough,
to send anyone their way, you know. So I don't want to.
We can just leave it there, yeah.
I don't want to slander, but I also don't want to. So anyways, I just recently sent my mold off to Last Bastion, and hopefully they will be picking up where I left off with these guys. But the pro side of this were these originally were so bad that the ones that I was able to kind of save and I was able to use, it's kind of what got me to buy an airbrush and get into airbrushing, so I could paint them and save, you know, the ones that were savable. So yeah, on the glass half full side, it's really, you know, it got me airbrushing. It got me to be able to do, you know, cool airbrush stuff with the resin. Like this is one of the Cortex Gorbels. This is actually one that me and Kachina painted over at his house.
Man, that is badass, dude. Now, what is that again?
I call it a Cortex Glorbel. And it's a different Glorbel, but with the elongated head and the mouth closed. I'd always thought about, you know, what would a Glorbel look like if it didn't have its mouth open.
Oh, dude, that is so cool.
And I've got different airbrushed versions of that. which have kind of being able to use the airbrush
Oh man,
to
those are
paint these has been,
rad, dude. And
really
so,
cool.
what's the deal with those, dude? Are you doing drops of those, or are you? Is it just you doing collabs with people?
I haven't done any collabs with these guys yet. Right now, I'm stocking up for Collected Con and then Decon.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I gotta know how you're getting those fucking eyeballs so damn
Dude, that's so
clean.
freaking
Are you masking those fucks? Like, what is up
No,
with that?
they're casted separately.
Ah,
So like here's one that doesn't have the eyeballs in it yet, and it's kind of got
so
this like
fucking
pukey
good.
yeah.
UV green puke on it.
Yeah.
And I'll then cast the eyes separately, so I can either paint them or I can stick them in afterwards. But like this is
That's what
casted.
she said.
Dude.
This is probably one of my favorites. Like I strive for perfect, and I don't usually get to as perfect as I want. But like this is one that I can honestly say is in my eyes perfect. Like there's not a seam line, there's not a bubble, there's nothing on this.
That's really hot, dude.
It turned out really, really nice. And it's got some color shift glitter, and
Yeah.
so
God
I normally wouldn't say this, but secretly I've got my camera off because I had to take my shirt off so I could just touch myself inappropriately. That's secretly
Oh
why.
man, that's great.
Fuck, that's dude.
So,
Honestly, Farrell Foundry does the eye thing as well, and
God dang
it opens up such a nice opportunity. And I love how you're going with such a fucking like I don't want to say matte on the eyes, but the pearl essence on the bodies versus the fucking eyes. More
thank
noises.
you, man.
dude.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal with those, dude? Are those ones that you've made and that you're taking with you? You're just stocking up right now?
Damn, dude.
Yeah, so I just had my first like local Salem show. And it was
Okay.
called Goblin City Market, which is not necessarily like
Sorry.
a toy show specifically, but kind of like a lot of artists who do a lot of oddity stuff. And I thought Glorbles would fit in there, so I ended up doing that. Would be my first hometown show. And then I've got what's left from that show, and I got to make a whole bunch more for Collected Con in just like a couple weeks, man. So it's just been a grind. And then Designer Con in November in Vegas. And then some things I'll throw online. But I like to, when it costs so much to travel these conventions, I want to have stock,
Oh yeah.
Having a part-time job has been killing me, dude. It's been the time that I put into these things of like sanding and painting, and then obviously things going wrong and stuff like that. It's tough. It feels like all I do is like work my part-time job and then come home and sand and paint and polish and cast. But it's just part of the grind, I love doing it. But I'm definitely not able to.
Oh yeah.
I'm not able to do drops as often as I was when I, was just doing this, when I was only doing toys. But only doing toys would pay the bills until I wanted to travel. And then it adds so much stress. Like I went to 5 Points, not this year, but last year, and I sold like 2 things. And I was like, that was financially tough because it cost even the hotel stay in New York was like insane. So having a part-time job does add that cushion and like less stress if I happen to not sell as much stuff at a convention. But at the same time, it's like, this is all I want to be doing, and that's the goal, is to just be able to create, just be able to make stuff and make enough money to get by with like just that. So
yeah. Stop eating, bro.
Right. Right.
Rule number 1. You want to be an artist, stop eating. That's rule number 1. Stop sleeping is rule number 2. Yeah, sorry, man. I hope you're already taking your shits in the shower and just fucking healing them down the drain, because you gotta be saving on pee-pee.
And coffee is the main meal all day long.
Yo, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay, I'm just gonna put it. I saw coffee was $21, and I was like, no, this is some bullshit. So then I go on Google and I'm like, coffee near me. All these articles being like, yeah, apparently coffee's skyrocketed all of a sudden because of some random bullshit. So yeah, coffee
No,
these days is now just a stupid price. So
they know we're all addicted and there's money and we
oh
can't grow it ourselves, so we
Mm.
rely on, somebody else.
my fuck, man. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you seem to be doing a lot of collaborations, homie. Like, what pushes you towards doing these collaborations? Do they just kind of happen to land in your lap and you can't say no? What's going on with this? Do you love it?
Yeah, yes and no. A lot of it is for, like I said, with the whole lore thing. Like, I really like for things that I make to make sense within like the universe. I don't like to just make things to make things. But at the same time, I like being a part of all these different shows. Like right now, I've got this Saturday at Strange Cat Toys. There's a show called Little Shit Bigger Deal, which is put on by Blind Bag Toy Attic, and I did a collaboration with Priscilla where we did these little. It's on my Instagram, but we did these fish bowls, and I did a fish character, and she did fish characters, and they're kind of companion pieces that all go together. So I do like to be a part of shows, and a lot of collaborations come from being in shows, or going to conventions and boothing with people. Like me splitting a booth with Dead Boy, I didn't have time, but we had initially planned to try to come out with a collaboration between me and Dead Boy because we're going to be at the same table, and like that's super cool. I love him, I love his art, and we hang out almost every designer con because I'm usually at the table with Plastic Pizza, who are also like the homies. You know what I mean? They're someone that always has me at their booth. We're always hanging out. We always meet up at all these different conventions, and we split costs, we split rides, and that's how we all kind of help each other make it happen at an affordable price. We were kind of just like a little toy family that gets to meet and hang out a few times every year.
Mm.
I
That's
know
for
B.
yeah.
This is gonna be lost on B, but fuck, this Boo is so good, dude. This is a great example as well of how this character can morph into so many different things, man. You toss that little topper on there, give him the fucking scanner.
Yeah, the scanner's magnetic too, so you can take it on and off. And I know Majin Buu never used a scouter for all you super fans, but I still thought it would
Yeah,
be a cool little addition to add on there. Because I know the
absolutely.
super fans are going to call me out on that. They're going to say
Bah.
Majin Buu never used the scouter. And it's like, I know.
For fuck's sake, man.
God, those
But
are good.
fuck, man.
It's been fun, dude. Like
It's been fun.
I enjoy it so much. Like it's changed my life. It's like I don't need to rely on anyone else or anything that's going on outside of my, Salem's a small town. It's tough to be in kind of a small town where you are introverted, and it's just really cool to have something that you're passionate about that doesn't involve anybody else. It's just something that you can do on your own that you love doing, and having like so much support on Instagram and all that. It's just, I hope it never ends, man. I'm like, I see all this AI stuff and I'm like, oh, I hope that, I'm like salty. I'm like, I hope this doesn't start hurting the toy scene. I hope, it's, I really like feel passionate, and like this whole scene is very precious to me. And I hope it gets bigger. I hope it continues on. I hope to meet, ton more artists and be able to kick it with guys like you. It's like I see guys like you. I watch you guys all the time on YouTube, and I'm like, if we all lived in the same state, we'd be hanging out. Like, this is my people here.
Wouldn't that be pandemonium, dude? Holy smokes, man. That would really be something, dude. But
Not to be lame as all hell, but yeah, homie, like straight up, this past week when One, when I was eating shit, I was texting with Jazzwiz and Toyzday. When I was getting checked into the hospital, I was chatting with Toyzday and Jazzwiz, DNS, toy dudes. Not fucking mom and dad or something, not like some wife that doesn't exist. Bunch of fucking toy dudes.
Some wife that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean I try to have art days at least once or twice a week over at my house where I'll have my other friends come over that do art and we'll just put on YouTube or put on whatever as we like, do art. My buddy Andrew, one of my best friends, he does graphic design, so we'll do art trades. He'll help me with logos, I'll help him do 3D printing or sculpting or whatever. It's just I got a buddy named Hadley that I recently met who does really, really high quality stickers, vinyl stickers locally. So I've been trying to like send his name out there and get him connected with people. And it's just all about that ladder of us all helping each other do what we want to do.
Do you
It's not
find
competitive and it's not gatekeepy and it's just it's
once
awesome.
they see what you do a lot of them want you like? Let's be real. Most of them must have like a little icon or like an emblem they use or a dude they use. Do most of them at this point basically like do they want you to make toys for them? Like they must be like, homie, please make my dude into a dude.
I don't have a lot of them don't ask me, I would say it's more so me being like this character right here would make
Would
a
make a
sick
good dude.
toy. Yeah, I'm like
Dang.
let me help you make this.
Mm.
Um I think we all don't see our art the same way that other people see our art. And one thing that drives me insane is when I recognize something super talented that a friend is doing and they don't see it. And then it's like a goal of mine to be like, I realize that like you don't see this the same way that me or other people see this, but I'm going to be that person who like fucking gasses you up. It tells you that like this is super sick. You need to do more with this. You need to promote yourself more. You need to like put yourself out there. We need to make this into a toy. Um, and I find a lot of enjoyment and like satisfaction in that too. Like even my buddy Andrew, like being able to, help him not make the toy for him, but show him how to use Nomad and like how to do these things himself and then help him in certain areas where he needs to, but then to print it out and him hold his art in his hand for his first time, like I know how that felt for me. And now it's I love seeing that so much with other people. It's like, yeah, it's almost alive. That toy's almost alive,
Yeah.
because it's because it's 3D now. Before it was
Yeah.
only 2D. You couldn't feel it. You couldn't touch it. And it's just such a 3D printing is just such a cool thing these days. And then, being able to resin cast and do all that kind of stuff. And it's just it's insane to be able to come up with a concept and then potentially have it in your hand the same day or the next day or whatever. And it's just really rad. It's been yeah.
Dude, how do you approach, kind of that same thing that you're talking about, even with people who are just maybe they're not interested in making something, but maybe they're just kind of new to what this all is, right? Do you go about it the same way of breaking it down and saying, well, yes, this is a toy, but it's unique because of this. This was hand sculpted by a guy that was, or use whatever it is. It was from an artist from another country or whatever it may be. For me personally, I think, you know, it's trying to take whatever this is and almost like pitching it to somebody every time somebody says, oh, you do a toy show, like what is that? And then so you're like, all right, man, I got about probably 20 seconds to like hook this person on what this shit is, you know what I mean? And so how do you approach that when people come up to you and you say, oh yeah, well I make these gorbles, and they're like, well, what's a gorble,
Yeah, well, I would usually would say that it's not necessarily a toy that people play with because
Right.
people who don't know about this scene will think that it's like, oh well, I've got a 5-year-old, he let me buy him one, and I'm like, that's not exactly what it is, and and at the same time, it's still a thing. Even doing conventions like in at Salem, which it wasn't a toy show that I recently did at Goblin City, having kids run up and be like, "I want this," and the mom's like, "Okay, let's get it. How much is it?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's that's $120," and they shit their pants and tell their kid to not touch things. So that's always a little bit of a bummer, and that's also why I wanted to do the Safubi, was to be able to have a more affordable, Glorble that that other people can afford, and also still be able to kind of have that introduction into the designer toy scene. Um, and things like Labubu or Cause or stuff like that, that they're still doing that same thing. It's on a whole different level, but it's still introducing to people these collectible kind of art figures. And that's how I would probably go about it when talking to people that ask me, is like, it's a handmade collectible. That it's a chunk of someone's imagination. It's a chunk of somebody's influences, something that they created, just like any other piece of art.
I
And
feel like this is one that a lot of people can relate to. That it's so jokes because this is the mom toy. This is one of those toys that like your mom could have like 100 of these in every color. Her buddy makes the candle version at craft sales, and she needs to have every one. And it's the mom toy. You're not supposed to touch them. You're never gonna light them. You just collect them. They look nice
yeah.
on top of the shelf, and you're kind of right where like there's like this weird blend in between. We've talked about it even before with like Christmas decorations, Christmas villages, and stuff like that. People do understand this concept of like, fuck, those treasured memories, those porcelain glass things. People like they attribute this idea. They understand this idea of like a tchotchke or a collectible, but
Right.
it's plastic that seems to, for a lot of people, I feel that's where it kind of diminishes this idea of like, or cartoony, suddenly it becomes for kids.
Yeah, and it kind of is, in a sense. I mean, it's us staying kids.
Mm.
We're scratching that itch that we had when we were kids. I was definitely a toy kid. I had all kinds of toys and action figures, and I would just sit in my room and play imagination with those things all day long. And I think that's definitely a part of it, is getting older, is like, it's super cool that I could still exist within this universe as an adult and still get to make, cool, imaginative, trippy things. That are also collectible and that are also limited. And there's that kind of blind box itch that comes with it, as too, of like being able to collect all of them, and even with the Glorable, like, I try to think about sensory stuff. Even like, is it satisfying to hold? Is it satisfying to look? Does it feel good in your hand? It's round, it's pointy, it's bumpy, it's cute, it's scary. It's like, I'm trying to touch on all these different bases and make them translate into one thing. But yeah, I mean, it's still that playful part of us, that likes that stuff. And it doesn't have to die. It doesn't have to go away.
Dude, do you find it any harder, what you were saying about, kind of dipping into that, kind of staying a kid? I think a big thing in this community, and I think it's no secret to everybody, FKD kind of mentioned it a little bit, is just the nostalgia of certain things, right? G.I. Joe, He-Man, whatever it is. You've created something that is not like anything. You're not bringing anything back. It's all original stuff. Did you find it any harder? Or did you have any temptation to go back and try to pull something? You said you collected a lot of toys when you were a kid, man. Was there anything that you ever wanted to maybe do a spin on of something that you were like super cool with when you were growing up?
Majin Buu was a big one You know, I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I would go home from school and I didn't even stick to the schedule of when it would be on. I just knew as a kid that like if I got home from school and turned on this channel, 80% of the time it was gonna be on. I think I would have to what's that guy that does the grills?
Mm.
I'm gonna go blank on his name. George Foreman. I'd have to
Oh,
get
okay.
through these like
The food grills. I
George
thought you meant
Foreman
like
grill
I thought you meant
episode
the
to be
mouth
able.
grills. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know who that is.
No, I'd have to get through these George Foreman, you know, infomercials before Dragon Ball Z would start.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, Toonami and stuff like that was all a big influence for me. I loved Gundam Wing. But yeah, like, you know, Toy Soldiers was a big one. Flubber. I loved all that stuff. So I don't know if there was, you know, the character being starting off as like a street art character. I don't think that there was anything I was trying to pull from at that point. And I also think that not really knowing or being a part of the scene kind of worked in a cool advantage for me because I wasn't trying to replicate something that I had already seen, which I know that we can all do on accident even sometimes, or maybe we're just inspired by something that we see that's already made. But yeah, I don't think there was anything, you know, from that time that I was really trying to pull from other than just like a nostalgic mix of a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shit, dude. I think the fact that you made something, original, that had, there's nothing else in there, and you've turned it into something where you can do so much with it, dude. That's like extremely versatile, dude. When we first started talking about it, I'm just like, oh yeah, you can do a couple things with it, dude. But then when you start looking at exactly what it is, you're like, holy shit, dude, you got resin, you got vinyl, and just what you can do in between those two mediums is nuts. What were you gonna say there, Crumsy?
I was probably just gonna make a noise. Probably just a noise of fun pleasure. Yeah.
Oh man. So dude, you said that you did a show recently and it was your own personal show, right? Or you set up a did you say you threw your own show or you were part of a show recently?
Yeah, I was part of the convention, if that's what you're talking about, the Goblin City Market. That
Goblin
was
City
on
Market. Yeah. There you go.
June
Okay.
8th. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Love that
And
name.
yeah, was there other local indie artists there or what was that?
Yeah, there was other artists there. Like I said, it wasn't toy artists really. There was a booth across. I wish I could remember the name, but there was a booth across from me. Who this guy? It was pretty cool. He would like buy plushies and then sew a bunch of eyeballs onto those plushies. So you'd have like a teddy bear with like 20 eyes on it or something, which was, you know,
Oh, that's true.
pretty cool. But a lot of that stuff there was kind of mixed with like paintings and oddity, you know, taxidermy type stuff. It was put on by a group called Market for the Strange, and they do a bunch of different kind of like group art shows in Salem and Eugene and stuff like that. Just kind of like trippy, weird stuff. And that was my first time doing a booth with them, and it went well. I made enough that I paid for the booth and more, and then also got a network with some different local artists. But again, like even in Portland, I don't really have a collector base or clout or any or anything like that within Salem or Portland. Most of my collectors are outside of Oregon, and I think that's just because besides Gam Jam, there's just not really any other toy things going on here. I wish it was different. I wish there was.
Yeah.
But it's just not, especially in Salem. Like, yeah, there's just not a lot going on with the toy stuff.
You've mentioned a couple times that like the writing up the lore, coming up with the lore for your characters is typically one of your favorite parts of the character design.
Yeah.
What would you say outside of that kind of drives you to creating these characters? What keeps you interested with your designs?
That's a hard question. Break that down for me a little more.
Fair. I just know earlier on you had even mentioned that sometimes you kind of lose interest pretty quickly. So once you come up with the character lore for some of these characters, what
Hmm.
drives you? What's like some of like your favorite parts of making the actual pieces afterwards?
Yeah, well, building it and making it bigger and bigger, like being able to come up with new ways to expand it, and also not be as stuck within just doing glorbles. Like like I said, I love them myself, and that's a big reason I make them and I continue to make them, and that I can do different versions and varieties of them definitely helps. But the grand scheme of it is to be able to kind of have my own style that I can then make other things where it still translates. Like the lore of the Glorbles is part of it is that they're these like they're soul sucking ectoplasmic beings. So the kind of the group of people I call the administration that's trying to stop these Glorbles, they are humans. And they're not really able to get near Glorbles how they want to because humans have souls and they don't want to have their souls sucked out, basically. So that makes it now where I could kind of start playing around with different robots and stuff like that, where people can use these bots to battle or transfer or, do whatever with the Glorbles. And now I can start playing around with robot designs, or like the Fanatics. Now I can start doing kind of more creepy religious cult type characters that might still be, translucent and gelatinous in certain ways, having, being taken over or mended with the Glorbles in some sense. Um, but it's just a fun universe to always kind of be thinking about and like existing within my head, and then being able to make something and put it out there, which people could put next to Glorbles, and they still have kind of that same vibe, or that they're building that universe themselves with on their shelf, just like you would with, He-Man toys or Ninja Turtle toys or anything like that. And like you've got the Ninja Turtles, you've got the enemies, you've got, everything else, and then all together it just feels satisfyingly full. Um, and you're looking forward to seeing that universe expanded. Yeah, so that's probably my answer. I would say just it's just fun to be able to continue to expand in ways that I can make new things that have purpose. Not against anyone who just makes things because they want to make things. That's cool too. But to be able to make things that have purpose within the lore that I've created is kind of what I aim for.
Something like that, dude. I mean, obviously you've projected out a little bit further of kind of what the next step is, by thinking about some of these characters, man. How far are you planned out ahead? Are you thinking like, man, I got to do this in the next 6 months, or is there just no timeline and you figure, hey, I'm going to be in this for as long as I'm going to be in this, and if it's in a year, it's in a year? Some people are very regimented with their stuff, or like, I got to have this out by this date, I got to have this out by this next show. For you, it seems like a very long-term thing. But as far as planning your next step, how far out do you go?
I try not to put that big of like a deadline on myself, especially with having a part-time job now, because things just don't happen as fast as I want them to happen. And I still want it to be fun. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be a stressful job type thing. But I mean, I've definitely promoted things that haven't happened yet that I had planned to have happened. It just doesn't happen as fast as I want it to. I don't get things done as fast as I want it to. The stress also of kind of not falling off the algorithm, or becoming irrelevant by not posting or not being a part of shows. But there's definitely been times where I've had to be like, all right, I'm not doing collabs for a while because I need to work on my own stuff. As much as I love doing collabs or I love doing shows, it's like I need to work on the next step of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then, get back to doing the other stuff as well. So, but in my head, I've got a roadmap.
Yeah.
I've got different factions I want to introduce. I've got different ideas, and that's also one of the reasons it's hard for me to put out like a custom show. Because selfishly, I'm like, I still have ideas in my head that I know other people would probably do during a custom show, and I want to be able to get those done first before I put things out and let other people do their own take on things. So
Right. Man, as far as doing a show like a convention, what do you consider a success, man? Is it like if you make all your money back, as long as you get everything paid for, is that a successful show for you? It seems like you're really into kind of preaching right about what this whole thing is about to whoever wants to know, people who want to make their own stuff, people who want to collect your stuff or buy your stuff. Is there, if you were to make zero money at a show, but you had a shitload of people come up to you and just be interested in your stuff, how much of a success would that be for you to say, man, God, I lost probably a few grand out here, but I spread the word a little bit. There's got to be a little bit of satisfaction. I mean, it seems like there would be for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go into it thinking that like I'm ever going to make my money back.
Yeah.
Especially like
I think that's smart.
With hotel pay and the flight.
Sure.
And I'm super stoked when I do, and I do sometimes, but I go to these events for the marketing, for the networking.
Yeah.
Like few decons ago, not last one, I think the one before that where I had the helmet on, that's when I had met the guys who do the Decon Origins podcast. And they loved the helmet and they loved, what they had talked to me that I was doing. And then I was interviewed on their Decon Origins podcast. And that alone was huge for me, for being someone who'd only been to Decon 2 or 3 times at that point. To be featured on the actual Decon podcast was like, that alone was worth it to me for going, so it's awesome to be able to make that money back and to be able to make money, but it's still, for me, it's more about putting myself out there, reaching, more people that might like the Glorbles, that might like the design, hanging out with my friends and other artists that go, and being able to all connect and have a good time. So, I mean, if I have fun, it's a success,
Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to all these conventions just for that alone. It does suck to lose a bunch of money. And certain places like New York makes it really hard because everything is so much more expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't ever count on it because you kind of set yourself up to fail when you count on that money coming back, when it's such, with collectors, it's one of those things you can never really count on, but you can always feel appreciative and blessed when it does happen.
Yeah.
And I think selling art will always be like that, where it's like anytime you're paying bills with art, you're relying on other people to buy that art. And that's always a scary thing because it's not ever a for sure thing. So I think it's better if it's just not really about that and you're just doing it to have fun and just...
Yeah. And like you said, there's a marketing aspect to it too, man. And I think, that's one of the major points that we've tried to hit when talking about shows before is, I think going into it thinking that you're not going to make your money back right off the bat is key. I think going there for the fun of it and associating with people, friends that you maybe only talk to online and seeing them in person. That's another big thing, man. I know, especially for collectors, going to see people that you collect in person and going to see product that typically sells out right away in person. That's crazy too. But man, what was the point of that? I was going somewhere with that. Damn, lost it.
We all support each other too, which is really cool. We all help each other make it happen and make it affordable. It's cool to be able to reach out and be like, are you guys going to this convention? Do you want to all split an Airbnb? Who's driving up, or can we get rides from these people? Can we split a booth? I would not be able to afford a booth at Decon all on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. The marketing aspect is what I was going back to there. Was there's got to be you got to attach some sort of dollar amount to that too. What's that worth to you? especially at a place like Decon, where that's pretty much the biggest stage, right?
Right.
Even if you were to sell nothing, and you paid $1,000 for a booth, I mean, that's $1,000 of like some really good marketing for 3 days or 2.5 days, whatever it is, right?
Right.
But yeah, dude, I think that's I think just from talking to so many people that have been super upset with shows or really happy with shows or indifferent with shows. And I think the majority of people just kind of see it as, or artists as, it's just kind of something that you got to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it, but when you do it, there's some really cool stuff involved. That's like I said, man, that's something as a collector that I think it's always cool to go and find cool stuff at shows.
Right.
But meeting the artist, and I think that's something else that's really unique about this community, not necessarily the medium, but the community in general, is that you can, really, collect and access these super dope pieces, and then you can go to a show and meet the people and talk to them, shake their hand and get, one-on-one time with them. And there's not a lot of things, man, where you can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing that was funny, dude, when you're talking about like the pricing, right? It's like it's toys, but then it's like trying to justify it. I think as an artist, I think it would be harder to, when someone says, well, why is it $120? For me, when someone says that as a collector, like, well, why would you buy that for $120? And you go through the list of like, okay, well, here's why. As an artist, do you think it's even harder to say, well, it's $120 because I had to make it like this and it took X amount of time? And I mean, or do you even get into that? Do people ever go, wow, why is it X amount of dollars?
Yeah, I mean, pricing's always hard for me. Because there's so many factors in it, like how long it takes me to get something done as clean as I want it to be done and as fast as someone who's been in the scene can get it done.
Mm.
Some people who've been around doing this thing for a long time can get a flawless piece done way quicker than I can. Sometimes it takes me a while, to sand maybe my mold, doesn't turn out as clean and my seam lines are a little bit thicker than I'd like. I'm spending more time sanding those out, and then at the same time, there might be toys that are hyped up more than mine that have seam lines and they're selling for the same price. Or there's translucent resin 3D prints, right next to my booth that are selling for the same price as my resin casted stuff. And it is hard not to be like, well, then I need to make my stuff more expensive. Or like, why are people, buying things that have layer lines and seam lines for the same price that people are doing resin casting when, I've spent all this time and money learning how to mold and buying all the equipment like pressure pots and vacuum chambers, and I've got a grow tent in my garage that I've turned into a resin casting pod with like ventilation, and it's super toxic and all this stuff like that. So sometimes I'll try to get into that, but you also want it to not be so serious. And also not about the money, but it is something I do think about. And now with like AI, where people can put in prompts and get an STL just made, and then they're printing out something that they never even sculpted themselves, and then are selling for the same price as my stuff. Like, I do think about that stuff occasionally. It is hard to price. You still want things to be affordable, but you want the time and work that you put into it to also be valued.
Yeah.
It's tough. Money's tough, man, because nobody has it. And at the same time, it's like, I feel so blessed anytime I sell any art. You know what I mean? You're selling something to people that they don't need, but that they want. And like, I never thought I'd be selling art at this, not that I'm selling it at a huge capacity, but at the capacity that I am, I would have never thought possible. So like, I am very like, I want to be humble and appreciative of everything that I do sell, because it blows my mind all the time that people are spending money on my art. And I just try to stay focused on that.
Yeah. I think what you said, dude, goes back to what we were talking about earlier, man, is trying to explain exactly what it is. And I would think that for an artist, it would be even harder for the exact situation that you just said, dude, where someone is set up next to you and someone's interested in that. And you want to tell the customer, like, hey, I know you don't know what you're looking at, but this is how this is made over here. And mine are this price because of this. I could see that. Definitely being a thing, man. But God, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just what's one of those things, again, it's like that's when you start getting too, in my opinion, too hyper focused on like the seriousness of it. I'm making toys for people to enjoy, and if they like it enough to want to spend that money on it, cool. If they don't, I have some cheaper, I've got vinyl toys that are way cheaper. I want to still provide them a way to be able to collect my art, even if they're not willing to spend that, high dollar for the resin, the resin cast.
Yeah.
And then the people that are willing to spend that, kind of higher amount on resin casts, I want these casts to be perfect. They're not going to have bubbles. They're not going to have seam lines. I'm going to spend that extra time on them to make them, in my eyes, worth the money that I try to ask for them. So,
Yeah. As far as marketing goes for yourself, dude, are you using anything besides Instagram?
I tried doing YouTube for a little bit, but again, it takes so much longer to make things when you're trying to get shots of everything you're making and film and do all that. Mainly Instagram. Sometimes I'll post my stuff on like the Vinyl Toys Reddit page. Those guys, everyone on that group are super cool. Like I've had some really good interactions on Reddit for Vinyl Toys. Obviously the conventions, walking around with the Global helmet on, like taking pictures with people, just making myself, going to these conventions multiple times. Even if someone didn't go by my booth, if they see me walking by at one con with the helmet, they might think, oh, cool helmet. But then if they see me at another con and the one after that, it's like it creates more interest in like, who is that? I see that person all these different conventions. Like maybe I'll go check out what that's all about. So marketing, again, like you said, the marketing aspect of conventions is really another big one. I haven't really dabbled much in like paid ads or anything like that. The few times I've tried, I have, at least on Instagram, I haven't seen too much what's the word? I haven't seen too much benefit from it, I guess. I think I probably gain more followers and attention through collabs and doing online Instagram shows than I do ever like boosting an ad. So that would be another one. Obviously, collaborations with artists is a great way to market to their fans and then introduce my collectors to their art as well. So, and then stuff like this, being able to come on and talk to you guys. You guys have your own set of people who watch your show, and the opportunity to be able to be introduced to all them. And
yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, I think we really touch on a bunch of different aspects of, or a bunch of different versions of the indie scene, as far as vinyl or resin or both, 3D printing, whatever it is. And it seems like the further we go on, like, dude, remember 4 or 5 years ago when people started 3D printing and shit, and there was kind of like this thing where people were like, that's cheating, but then the more and more you start looking at it, and the people that are, you look at, how that is done with the original 3D sculpt, you're like, fuck, man, there's some skill in there. That's why I'm always blown away. Like you said, you were self-taught on Nomad. Dude, those aren't like easy programs to learn, but to just make the decision one day and say, hey, I think I'm going to, learn this, and then get to the point that you're at now, dude, that's an art in itself, and that's
discipline.
besides the other stuff you're doing.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, and it's also a big part of like people like you guys, when I was under 1,000 followers, you guys had featured one of my pictures on one of your shows. Like, I don't think we had ever met. I don't think I was even following you guys at that point, but you guys had came across my Instagram, and someone had screenshot it and sent it to me.
Because that shit makes no sense to me sometimes. Like just being totally honest, when we look at the work that you're pumping out, and then you've kind of broken down how you approach it, like how you're getting the eyes in there, why you've done it this way, like why we see the different styles in it. It's like, wait a minute, there's so many factors happening here. There's so many different skills happening. Like even like sorry, I'm saying like a Valley Girl 1,000 times here. Pulling up this one here, even just a quote unquote like blank. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what the fuck, dude? And then you see a little sea of the blanks, and it's like, for fuck's sakes. Like,
yeah, that's
brilliant.
that was
dude,
the Frankenberry Glorble for a
That's
cereal
great.
for breakfast show.
That's great.
Like, fuck, man. That's the kind of shit that it's weird to me when we see accounts like that. And honestly, Plastic Pizza makes so much sense to me that they're homies of yours, because like once you dropped that in my brain, I'm like, yeah, these fit. Like it makes sense. When you mention Resin Rookie, it's like, yeah, like it makes sense. Yeah, I don't
It's
know,
been
dude.
cool. Like there's a few posts on there where I like, this is something I've talked about in other interviews, but was huge for me was like there's this VR game that I play that was in beta at the time, and it's called Ghosts of Tabor, and it's like an extraction shooter type game. And I was in the Facebook group, and the developers of that game were pretty active in the Facebook group, like talking to people and getting feedback and stuff like that. And I had messaged one of the developers, and I was like, I see you have, different street art and stuff within the game. I make these things called glorbles. Like, here's the design. I do wheat paste and street art stuff myself. If you guys ever wanted to use any of this, feel free, And at first they said no, and that's what I expected, you know what I mean? But as one of those goals that I've always had was to be able to get my art into a video game. And a month later, that same developer messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, I brought up your artwork during a texture meeting, and we've decided we're going to put glorbles as graffiti around on the next few maps that are coming out." And he didn't tell me where they were, but when the maps came out, I got to like put the headset on and go into the game and try to hunt out where in the game I had glorbles on different walls. And that was like a huge thing for me, which would have never happened if I didn't just ask. So I always try to preach to people to like aim high, aim higher than you ever think, because you just never know if you don't ask or put yourself out there, or meet different people. Like going to the conventions, like you were saying, how meeting these different people is more accessible than other places, or like trying to meet a famous actor or a musician or whatever. And you don't like, one of the people I had always watched on YouTube for toy making when I would make toys was Frank Montano. He was big on YouTube for making stuff, and then he was at one of the decon, and I went and introduced myself and told him how I would watch his stuff when I would make my own toys, and we ended up hanging out. And now he lives in Seattle, and now we're friends. Like he just came over and stayed here for a few days, and we kicked it, and we went and messed around in Portland. And like that stuff will never happen if you don't put yourself out there in front of people, and aim high, I guess, and just make those connections. Like that alone, I would say, was like a crazy friendship I would have not had happen if I hadn't gone to designer con. So success, going to a con, even if I didn't sell anything, stuff like that. It's just, you don't know unless you try, and you got to put yourself out there.
Crumbs, I gotta hop off for a minute, dude. I gotta handle something, man.
I don't even. B is still just chatting away. I don't even know if he realizes that we can't hear a word he's saying right now. He's off screen. I go deal with your emergency, my dude.
Dang, yeah. I hope everything's okay.
Right? Homeboy's sitting there trying to explain to me. Meanwhile, one of his kids is probably in a burning building or something. So we've had you on here for about an hour and a half. Is there anything that you want to let us know to be keeping our eyes peeled for the future for Fixed Temples Toys coming up in this next little bit, homie?
Well, I guess the next thing I'll be at CollectedCon. This will be my first year going to CollectedCon. I'm boothing with Dead Boy, so if you guys are going to that, come say hello. I'm always trying to meet different artists and collectors. And yeah, thanks for having me on here, guys. It's really cool being able to be on a show that I've watched on YouTube so much. I'm sure every once in a while you guys see me in the chat commenting on stuff, and uh that's about it. I mean, CollectedCon and Decon are the next things planned for events, but besides that, I'll have different random drops online every now and then. So that's it,
I'm
man.
pretty sure B is looking forward to your online drops. I'm sure everybody in the chat is, but based on the noises that B was making earlier, I think they are very eagerly waiting any of the leftover drops you might have from that, homie.
Much appreciated.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight. I'm going to boot you off of here. We're going to go through some tabs real quick and then let these yahoos go home. But thank you so much for coming in and filling us up with a whole bunch of toy knowledge, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's an honor, and thanks everyone.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, the moment they start saying nice things, I can't hear nice things. We gotta kick them off after that. Fixed Temples Toys is probably one of the most most collaborated artists we've had on here. Dude's freaking portfolio is through the gosh dang roof. I don't know if you guys aren't following them. If you're not, for some reason, get on over there and make sure that you are following that. Otherwise, we're gonna slip on over to the tabby doos here tonight. I'm gonna even do this. Boom. We're gonna kick it from the studio there, so you don't feel all weird. I don't think B even realizes too. He's got his camera still rolling there. I can't even kick them from the studio because they're, and who knows. Anyways, sorry, dudes. You guys are getting the old crumb special here this evening. Oh, boom, boom. Oh, hey, homie.
Dude.
I wasn't sure if you were out for the night or if you were going to be sliding back in or.
Let me just get this off my chest real quick, okay? So here's the situation. My daughter is going down to college at the end of August, right? We've decided that she needs a better vehicle. So that's what we're doing. Better vehicle. There's a dude coming to look at her current car, which is my old car, on Monday. She just called me and said that she was parked in front of her mother's house, which is in the same town I live in, and the kid across the street backed into it. And she sent me a picture, and it's right between the front panel and the door, and the driver's side door will not even open. So there goes selling that car. And that is life, my man. God dang. It's just one of those things, bro. I'll tell you what, man. Ain't that some shit? Toys. What were you looking at? Were you looking at some tabbies over there? What are you doing there, bud? I got some stuff to look at. You want to look at that?
Yeah, let's see what you got over there. I got a little pile of some goodies I want to show off over here.
Oh, what you got? Let me see it. Let me see
it. Got some Canadian boys hanging out over here. So, because I went to that show a week ago. Yo, okay. So Grayskull Toys, already, you saw their setup they had because you would have gone to the, what show was it? Was it AR that they were at, that you were at 5 Points? Was it ZunderCon?
Assembly required, but if it was this last year, no, maybe the year before, but I don't, no, they were there this year, but I was not there this year, so I missed them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So first off, this thing is so fucking cool. These translate so well to resin. Look at the stupid this guy's just so fucking fun, man. These kaiju guys he's been working on and doing the that fucking spray on there, homie.
Dude, that is nice, dude.
It just translates so freaking well onto this character. And then, of course, being such a gosh dang sweetheart, I haven't even popped it open yet. But homie ended up doing this badass black and white one here. I'm gonna rip this open because, dude, wait till you see like the little face on this fuck. That's stupid, man. And of course, this is toy makers, man. It's so kind of them. Death and Strawberries mentioned it kind of on their answer. That black and white shelf, man. You show up there and you have these homies that are just kind of like, hey, Crumbs, I made this for your black and white shelf. And you're just like, okay. I don't know how to properly receive this because I'm damaged inside, but thank you.
Dude, that is nice too. That's also Grayskull.
This is Grayskull Toys, man.
Ooh.
That fucking little face on there just really drives it home, man.
Yeah,
and
dude,
then,
nice.
Glad Ghoul Toys was an artist that I was actually not familiar with until being there, but they had a couple of dudes. Oh, fucking, and actually Grayskull. Man, gotta be stoked on.
Oh, hell yeah.
Can never have enough of the fucking little diner guys, man.
Yeah, that's all you.
But fucking Glad Ghoul Toys.
Ooh, look
had
at
a
that.
whole bunch of these. I think it was like $5. I don't understand, man. This little frog man.
Mm.
And he posted a couple of these up on his walls. He's been painting these up. Just a fucking reminds me of almost Pretty Cool Pals or Trash Toy Studios. These little skull slug guys.
Nice.
Then of course Dre was there. The old Dreinator.
No, so you got these at a show, correct?
These were all at a show at the Super Wonder Gallery that was all based on toys. It was a toy-themed art show upstairs. Dude, this one so fucking cool. The tan and the purple and green. One of his crud figures.
Oh, that's from Dre, yeah?
Motherfucker. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And then turtle sculpts of theirs as well. Because, of course, Michelangelo is the coolest Ninja Turtle. Fight me. But yeah, dude, it's nice being able to see a whole bunch of the Canadian toy dudes all together for a change. LM9 was there. Von Fake Name came down for like a whole fucking week. Refused to stay at anybody's house because that would be too much of a nuisance, apparently. Come wash your balls. Nah. Come have a coffee. Nah. It's like, home. You've just driven fucking halfway across the country. But okay. And anyways. I don't blame him with my place. I kind of laughed and joked with them afterwards because, dude, I'm just going to put it out there. This shit is so fucking jokes with the epilepsy because at one point, I was even kind of sitting there. The imposter syndrome starts kicking in because you've been fortunate enough that you haven't been rocked in a while. And then you just get humbled real fucking quick where the imposter syndrome goes away pretty darn quick. And you're like, thank fuck, if anything, homie didn't stay here because that's probably the last thing they would need to wake up to.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Anyways, what you got?
Those were dope, by the way, dude. That looked like I saw a bunch of those posts from that show, dude, and that looks killer, man. You know what really blows me away too, dude, is it's like the same with any show, right? Like you see stuff online and it's in limited quantities and stuff, and then you go to a show
and has a whole table.
But and that's one thing, but then the fact that the amount of people that walk by that and have no fucking clue like what's going on, and they're just like, yeah, I don't know, this one dude had these one things there, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude. If I was there, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and give me one of everything there, buddy. You know?
I had to take off. It was one of those things where like I just couldn't stay. And there's this dude sitting there talking to LM9, and all you can think the whole time is just like, LM9 is being nice, but this guy is sitting there kind of being like, oh, the director of this movie, and you're sitting there just kind of being like, if you don't shut the fuck up so I can grab something off that goddamn tape. Anyways, what you got?
The first one that I'm going to show, dude, I'm going to start off with Pope Toys because I know it's past his bedtime, and we'll go with these first, dude. He posted these up a little while ago, and we were working on. So when he started off with the Neuro Wardens, I was like, man, dude, I need some of those. But I wanted more than one. And I was like, well, why don't we do a set of 3? And what he came up with, dude, was like, he's like, yo, what do you think about primary colors? And I'm like, oh, dope. Like,
underrated.
Run with it. Do something with it, right? So he starts making these, bro. And so I got 3 of them. They're all in primary colors, and we're calling the set Primary Wardens. And dude, they are just so stupid good. That blue and yellow with the double cast brain. And again, with the packaging, dude, just a nice package, man. Stickers, stand, of course. You got a little hole in the foot there. But you got the blue and yellow with the red brain. So damn sick, dude. And I swear to God, man, like, I hate that that everybody can't have this like right in front of them, man, because the details on here and the paintwork is so damn good. There's that one.
The red and yellow is so fucking brilliant, man.
Oh, straight up, dude. And he nails it. Every one that I've seen from him is dope. All of them. I'm usually not a big fan of red and yellow together like that, dude, but look at that. That is super sick. Blue brain on that one. Bam. Nice. And then the red and blue. Ugh. God. So good, man. Bam. So you got those 3 as a set. Bam. Look at that shit. Bam. Super nice there. The other one that I got was a Skeletor version. Just because it's a Skeletor version, and who doesn't love that purple and blue?
That's really sharp. Hot damn, man.
Yeah. Sick.
Also, I liked that noise, that whatever that platoon sound was. Hot damn, that was cool.
That was cool, wasn't it? It was the bag on the metal stand, but you're right. It was like a little spittoon type sound there. But look at that, dude.
That's fucking sexy. Dude. Yeah, that's good.
Fork and egg, man. That is nice. Next thing we got is how about this one, dude? This is what we were talking about with Hobo Toys, and that Bambi piece. And I said the way it's together, it kind of reminds me of Gummy Fetus, Jason Feeney a little bit. Just because it would be like this, right? But usually he does his in halves. But
the Bambi colorway was so good on those.
Oh, dude, so good. And look how, I mean, I know the head is oversized and everything, dude, but just barely. It looks pretty seamless, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, the paint on there is just too good. It always blows me away, like, when they stand and they have 4 legs like that. Has Been Toys, when Colin made those Kawakian warriors, and he did the horse, and the horse was hollow on the inside. The legs were also hollow on the inside. And I thought, there ain't no way that thing's gonna fucking stand up, dude. And it still stands today.
I don't know why. I'm a little uncomfortable with how clean that ass is. Every time you end up turning it around and it gets right up into that tail biz, I'm like, I shouldn't be so impressed with that ass.
Dude, but the paint on it is so fucking good, man. Super cool. Hobo Toys right there, man. That one, that was an addition to 3, and surely they sold out, dude. They were cheap.
Yo, also, homie, no homo, your shirt looks great on you.
Bro,
also homo, good, dude.
let's just talk about these. Thank you, dude. So this is the first time I've worn this shirt, dude, and I got to get with Marty and see what fucking brand he used or what is this, where he got these shirts. This feels like a heavyweight shirt that you've had that was maybe like a Ben Davis or a Carhartt at one point when you first got it, and it was like really stiff and shit. And then you washed it and wore it to work for about 10 years. And then you get this, but this is how it is naturally, dude. This is the assembly required 2025 shirt. He's got these on his site, dude. They are cheap and they are worth every freaking penny. I want to say they were like, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks. But super dope, dude. He's got some really good graphics on there. These are available, and it's like this really cool kind of soft dark blue, I would say.
Like a distressed fit.
Yeah, exactly. A little heavyweight distressed is what I would call it, but it's a nice shirt. And then I did order something else. His packaging was off the hook on this one, but he had these prints available a couple weeks ago, maybe something like that. Dope.
Damn, yeah, dope,
dude. Another one, dude. This is gonna fucking hang in my house. Obviously, I'm gonna get it like a nice frame for this one. But again, dude, cheap. This was cheap, dude. This was like, $20 or something like that. Whatever it was worth it. Some really cool stuff in there, and he put it in between a couple pieces. So that's awesome. Marty's prints and style, man, is one of those ones that I think a lot of people would agree that is just instantly recognizable. And it's super cool, man. It's his font, it's his layout, it's everything. So he may still have some of these available. I'm not sure.
That's a good eye, dude. Like for creative design, like this is a good eye for it.
Yeah, dude. And I think something that's funny is it's not really funny, but it's interesting that as good as O'Keefe is, right? O'Keefe really has feigned on a pedestal, man, and he should, as far as prints go and stuff, because Marty's stuff is just wild, dude. I've seen him do brown paper bags, shirts, of course, prints. His stuff is just way out there. And for someone like O'Keefe to admire him after seeing O'Keefe stuff, you're like, holy shit, man. Like that's impressive, dude. I think O'Keefe stuff is right up there with the best that's out there. Got a couple more, man. Here's one of them is the Critter vinyl from ETC in the camouflage colorway, dude. The camouflage colorway, we kind of chatted about it a little bit. Tim and I about how much better this looks in person, and I agree, dude. It looks super sick. But that Critter with that sculpt, these are available in, this was a small run, the camouflage, I think. But I think there are some other ones available on there, maybe even these. But these are sick, dude. Nice. ETC.
I don't know if I've really seen much.
It's a weird looking little boo.
Yeah, fucking Macaducky.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen a camo, Paul.
Gray Skull Toys said, super nice guy too. I think he was talking about Marty, and I agree, dude. That dude is a sweetheart. I love the fact that he's a teacher, and he's just always, every time that I've met him at AR 2 years in a row, and he's just always he's an awesome dude, let alone talented. How about this one, man? This one's a Void Boy from Rokomashu, or not Rokomashu, Ray Gun Wizard. Dude. Painted. I haven't taken it out yet. This is one where I might leave it in there. Void Boy. But it's got that cube head, and it's painted by him. This was a small run too. This was an edition of 3, I believe. But man, another nice one from Ray Gun Wizard. Ray Gun Wizard still has some of those larger, they're like 12-inch cube heads. The all pink blanks, those will run you about $60. Fucking worth every red cent of that for sure.
Fucked, I'm glad you said it, dude. I was thinking the same, dog. Fucking killer header art. Yeah, stupid paint app on that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh. Dude, that's one of those pieces that I picture somebody seeing in like 15, 20 years and just wondering, WTF? Like, what? I love this kind of shit.
Well, dude, that I mean, the cube head, the head alone. When I first saw that, I think it was in the pink blank, and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck is that, dude? You know what I mean? Like, super sick, man. Last but certainly not least, dude. This one is from Jevaho. This is one that I showed on that.
One of the first tabs I've got, as if, dog.
I know, right? Am I upset that this is probably no longer a one-off? I don't know, Jevaho. I don't know. I don't even care, dude. This thing is so sick, man. I showed this one on the show last week, the show that nobody saw, but dude, I mean, holy shit, right?
That's the kind of toy, dude. Imagine being like 5 years old, being at like a fucking cottage for the summer. You go to the little ice cream stand, and that thing is for some reason on the shelf. Dude, the dude running it's never heard of He-Man before in his life, doesn't know what Skeletor is. That's just sitting on the shelf. That's the kind of shit. Yummy. Fuck.
I think we talk about Jevaho more often than not. And dude, the quality of that shit is just, it's so amazing. And what's crazier is like the frequency that he puts the stuff out at, right? Like that's something that we mention all the time. Like, man, he puts a lot of stuff out, but it's like, yeah, dude, not only does he put a lot of stuff out, like everything that he puts out is fucking pristine, dude. Like no bullshit.
Yeah, we know some very talented individuals for sure, man.
Straight out of Belgium, and that was it on the pieces, man. Oh, this is the giveaway stuff. Yeah, and speaking of like international, right? We had Astro Toys won the giveaway question this week, and he's from Germany, which is cool. We'll put something together for him, including this Toys Alive sticker pack right there. We'll get him one of those. What else? Did you have something else out there, buddy? No,
I've gone through the palace. I'm sitting on here, and then it's just tabbies. There's a bunch of drops happening on tomorrow and Saturday.
Nice.
So I figured we would give a little love to those guys. I did have the Jevaho page front stage and center here because I believe they're doing some pre-orders for a couple of these guys.
Oh boy,
so those are up and ready to go. Motley Miscreations has made some Raptors. This was 3 days ago, so I would take a look in their shop. We might have missed the boat on these guys dropping.
So I got a little info on those. So the two in the middle, the green and then the white, those were leftovers from 5 Points, and those sold out like immediately. The one on the right, the Raptor, that's a pre-order, and it might still be going. $75 on what that is for the pre-order on those.
But like,
dude, did you see those whales? Go to the previous post before that, dude, and check out these little whales.
What are these whales?
Yes.
These?
Yes.
Yeah, that's hot.
And if you read the descriptions, dude, I was reading some of his stuff the other day, and he was like, yeah, I just wanted to finish up a couple projects that I had going, and that happened to be one of them. But I'm just like, damn, dude, that's nuts. And these little side projects. And then it comes out. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess I should cast that now. And fuck, dude.
See, I'm still waiting to meet a woman that's okay with me like this. That I can rest on my belly and prop myself up with my fins and tail, too. That's the key. Once I find one okay with that, then we're good. Brulio. The old Brulio toys coming through.
Yeah.
With some Cobalt Specters.
Sold out.
Good.
And he's gonna make some other colorways, dude. $20 a piece, though. That, I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Well, we showed up some pieces a few weeks ago, dude, and those are, I mean, they were right around the same price, $20-$25, dude. That's quality shit.
Super talented individual. Great price point. Silly. Ridiculous. Yo, this artist we almost never see make action figures. These look fun, dude. These are fun looking.
They are, man. I have a few of them when he first started making those, and he does have his own little world going on. There were some of those. I don't know if those ones are still available. There were some that were still available, but there was some other ones that were like all solid colors, and I think those all sold out almost right away. But yeah, dude,
Just
his
so out of
he's
the
out
norm.
too, man. Yeah, those ones sold out right away for sure.
No shit.
But he's up by me. I want to say he's in like Santa Rosa, San Rafael, and actually Santa Rosa, bro. From me, he's like 20 minutes from me right now.
There's something about those mixed parts that they're just tasty. Fuck. Deadpin doing a drop on Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. These fucking pores, man. Like, god damn it.
Do you remember when Deadpin only did bowling pins?
I don't.
Yeah, dude. That's what a dead pin is. It's, when you go like for a strike, you got one fucking
Fair.
standing there. But yeah, dude, when they first came out, they were just doing, and I bought some, and
Good.
I was like, they're great, dude. They're glow and they're fucking. Yeah, that's shit, dude. That was years ago now.
Yeah, we're not gonna scroll all the way back there, but these pores just look so good. I couldn't resist posting about them tonight.
Super nice.
Absolutely. I love that like fucking like sherbet color to it. There's something just so tasty about that freaking. Anyway,
it's the sherbet. Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's exactly what that is.
Cryptocurium.
Yes.
They're gonna drop tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. So this is gonna be Friday night as well. But hot damn, these remind me a lot of those Halloween decorations you maybe see like your mom or something have. Every now and then you see them pop up on Winners, but just better made.
I'll tell you what, dude, I have some of his pieces from a few years ago, and they are Halloween related pieces. And they're some of the only pieces that I take out of the toy room around the holidays, because for that exact reason that you just said, dude, is they look like, decorations or something that you would buy. Like you could see them at like Michael's or something like that, right? Like where you're seeing a lot of stuff around the holidays. Not that that's a bad thing. I think they're super cool, man. I have like a pumpkin headed dude and a couple other ones, man, but they're dope, dude. They look good on display, and they are, like I said, stuff that you could bring out around Halloween, and they fucking fit right in.
The glow on that fucking face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're gonna drop 6 p.m. tomorrow night.
Dude, and whoever does their sculpts, like I don't know too much about. I have stuff from that account, but I don't know too much about who does the sculpting and whatnot. But whoever does it, holy shit, dude, they've done so much. They drop consistently, and it's always something new, it seems like. But dude, like the amount of sculpts in that portfolio is fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, I'm curious now. Somebody we're gonna have to bug to get on.
Yeah.
Michael Frenetics is going to be doing a drop tomorrow as well. Did I get that right? Friday, 7:30. Dude, I like the size of these guys bigger. The couple I have are probably 2 inches, and they've since made them bigger. There's something really fun about that, like palm size. These marble casts with the painted eyes are fucking sharp.
Yeah,
I like these dudes. Big on the lore on a lot of them as well. Like, oh fuck, like, sorry, like this is a good fucking overpour. I don't know what the hell is going on with this baddie, but that's a sex machine.
Yeah, those are nice.
Like, we've talked about it a couple times. You've kind of nailed it. The growth we've seen from 3D printers and 3D sculpting is wild, man.
Yeah, and I mean, like I mentioned with Fixed Temple, dude. By the way, man, I'm gonna have to hit up Fixed Temple on the side, dude. Apologies for having to jump out of here real quick, but dude, what a great guest, man. I think we were really hitting on a lot of stuff, dude. And that dude, man, what a dude, he's got a passion for the scene for sure, man. And it's not just in creating and selling stuff, but you can tell he really wants to spread the word about what this shit's all about.
And what I love, dude, is like they like what they've made. Like, and I feel like so many people are afraid of having that, but you can see it. Whether they want to do it like openly, just be like, I love the toys I make or not. Like, you can tell they like this character they've made. There's love behind there, man.
Yeah, and dude, I'll tell you what, man. I feel like a straight up idiot when I'm just like, hey, have you ever thought about doing vinyl? And he's like, oh, you mean like these this fucking shelf full of vinyls that I've already made behind me? But that being said, I mean, dude, you talk about a variety of stuff that he's doing with that Gorbel, and then the other stuff that he's doing with that world that he's creating and the other characters he's about to bring in, man. Cool. It's very, very cool, man. It's encouraging to see something that looks like it's super successful already, but still looks like it's at the beginning of what it could be in the end, you know? So anyways, that was cool. Did you have more tabs?
I do. I'll try and be quick about them.
Oh, all
seen
good.
This shit from Better Days Toys?
I did see that, and Better Days Toys also put a note in there that they were starting to do commissions. So if you're looking for a commission to do something, I mean, I have a couple of those pieces of my own, and the quality is just, it's on another fucking planet, dude. It does not look like there's somebody at home making those fucking things, dude. Not even.
Reminds me of the Biker Mice from Mars line that came out.
Absolutely, yeah, dude, beautiful. The quality of their stuff is just, it's phenomenal. Oh my God. Speaking of people who need to be on the show, I was talking to Hurt about him, and he was just like, dude, get that dude on the show. I'm like, straight up, dude. Yeah. Like, we always talk about homegrown vinyl and shit. I mean, if this ain't a great example, fucking A.
This shit gets me hard, dude. Like, judge all you want.
Dude, the Beachgoers, what a great accessory, right, dude? When I first saw that, I was like, dude, that's
fantastic, that's great, man. Brilliant. Brilliant. And like, let's be real. Somebody try explaining this right here to you a year ago, you'd be like, the fuck are you talking?
Oh yeah,
wrestling. It's like, no, this shit's fucking hot, dude.
Dude, and you know what, man? That stuff sells out quick. And if you go to his page, the only thing that's for sale on there is resin stuff. You know what I mean? Oh my God, that skull bat right there to
dude
the left.
Moves quick, homie.
Oh my God, dude. Golden bat is exactly what that is, actually. Yeah. That's super dope. But the shark, I want one of those. Those sell out right away. He's got that old timey like boxer dude. That dude sold out right away. He's got the Mike Tyson that I want to ask him about. That Mike Tyson he was working on was fucking legit. There goes Mike Tyson. Yes, dude.
And
fuck me, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The dude, so check this out, man.
There was a dude when my dad used to coach football. He used to coach down in San Jose, dude, and they was at this high school in East San Jose called Lincoln High School, and there was a dude there who ended up being a really big video game developer. But when he was in high school, he was a sculptor, and he used to sculpt these things for my dad. A dude playing football, a dude lifting weights, all kinds of shit, dude. But it looked just like that Mike Tyson character. And whatever you call that style, dude, I don't know. Like if you looked at that figure and drew that, I don't know what you would call that. But it was like identical to that, dude, and just crazy good work, dude. And he's a super cool dude, man. He's like really big into like t-shirts and shit too. I know that he had like a t-shirt company at one point or worked in t-shirts. But the other thing that's really cool about it is his
your dad's
Low-Tech.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, Low-Tech, he's has like a t-shirt background, and then also his boxes. If anybody's got anything from him, dude, the amount of printing that dude does on his boxes, it's nuts. It's crazy, dude. It's like top-notch fucking packaging, man. And I don't think anybody ever really mentions that on, you know, how fucking sharp that looks. It's great.
I'm sure you weren't aware, but Hewlett Made has a drop actually happening on Saturday.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you probably didn't know. But just
Get out of here.
so you now do know, Helimate's going to be doing a noon Eastern Saturday drop.
You know what I love, dude, is that his Saturday drops, they're like, actually most of his drops are on Saturdays at the same time. So it's an alarm I always have in my phone. So it's just like, it's either on or it's off. You know what I mean? You don't have to go through all the bullshit of setting it. It's just on or off. But yeah, dude, I think this is going to be one of the larger size wrestling figures that he's been doing, which is, the scale's great, man. The scale's like, you know, I don't know. They got to be like 5 inches or something like that. But the only one that he's done so far is that Boba Fett back there. But looks like the other two are on the way for sure.
You know, I need to make sure the next woman I date is a toy person, because I've noticed a lot of us toy folk, the moment something's like 4 inches, it's fucking huge, man. So I need to make sure that I only from now on date toy folk, so that way, right away they'll be like, "Whoa, it's so much bigger than I expected. It's fucking huge. God damn. How much does that thing weigh?"
Yeah.
Nick Nightmare Studios Saturday drop as well. A lot of horror figures coming out.
Yeah. And you know what? He had some really cool drops. I think he do some Jasons on Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
Yeah, right there, dude.
The claim sale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
those are cool. Fucking fun. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that from this. Neat. Resin, chemicals.
I like that.
Ooh, fuck. Ooh. Oh man, what I wouldn't give for a handful of candy corn right now. I was craving cotton candy earlier so damn bad, and I kept on telling myself you don't. Anyways, but now seeing that, oh, how do you feel about candy corn? You like that shit?
I like it for about 2 pieces, and then I'm good for about another 2 years.
Lame.
Bro, the sugar, I mean, it is basically just sugar, but holy crap, dude. I get it why people hate it. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I'll eat it.
Jimmy Folklore is going to be doing a Wiz return.
Yes, the Wiz is back, dude. If you haven't followed Jazz Wiz back, he got his old account back, so make sure that you jump on there. I think he's keeping the 2.0, but he's the Wiz, and nobody beats him. Fixed Temple likes the candy corn. Hey, I get it, man. You know what? I like the pumpkins. I think I like the pumpkins more, the candy corn pumpkins. But you know.
Okay, I would have to agree. However, there's like the tism in me loves the way that the candy corn breaks into threes. I don't like that you can only nibble off the little green part from the pumpkins.
Well, let's think about this, man. You're talking about the tip of a candy corn. You get satisfaction in biting off that fucking centimeter piece of sugar? Is that what you're
There's something so satisfying about the middle one, not only snapping at the base, but then breaking down the middle as well.
Oh man, you're off the deep end with that shit, dude.
One day, because Vomiting Droids even asked me about it. They were asking me about how so much of my fucking toys end up in the mouth. It's apparently an evolutionary thing that our tongue has really sensitive texture feely thingies so that we know if something we're eating is actually spiky and gonna hurt us.
Bliss B to the metric. Mechaducky, that's what I'm saying. By the way, welcome back, Mechaducky. It's all the same flavor. I agree, man. It's all the same. These are nice, dude. Who's this?
This is Empire Grotesque. We want to talk about accounts under 1,000 for some reason. They've got these guys coming up. Look at this fucking sharp, man. Also, I'm in love with these. Sorry, this is fun as all fuck to me.
Who did that?
Breaking Design. Sorry, they make these wooden little wheelie dudes that I fucking like.
Wow.
These, man.
Dude, those are straight up toddler looking toys, dude.
These are G, man. I bet they smell so good. Pope toys. This is an interesting sculpt, man. A lot of motion in this.
Yes, dude, and the head that he used for that, dude. I think I was talking to Marketeer Mike about this figure the other day, and we were talking about just how exactly what you said, dude. The motion in it and the action in it, and the fact that it's not, you got a chainsaw in there. That's not common. The head is not something that you see used all the time. But dude, that's another banging ass figure. The thing that I like about him too, dude, he really experiments with his pores and stuff and what he puts into the pores. This was a something. I can't remember what that was. I can't read that print. It's like, I'm not going to say
it before. You can almost feel it. You can almost tell the texture difference in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's so different. But it looks as far as the two pores there. But cool, man. I mean, I hope he makes more of those and sells them. Yeah, nice.
It's really clever, and sleeves roll up and everything. Ooh, Valentine hearts are absolutely fucking delicious. The only downside with Valentine's Day hearts is there's such a variety of like dissolvability, cinnamon versus like spicy sweet, etc. You never really know what you're getting. That part kind of pisses me off. Scott Cherry, Barbarian Rage, doing a photo contest. If you guys aren't already familiar with it, hop on over, take a little look. It must be a Barbarian Rage vinyl toy. It can be customized version, collaboration, or a blank, but it must be a Barbarian Rage vinyl toy. Make it look awesome. Take your time. But yeah, they're doing a photo contest. If you haven't already taken a look at that.
And I just wanted to say something about that real quick, dude. If you look at the prizes that he has there, and if you're confident in your picture making skills, there's a chance for you to even think about it this way. If you went ahead and you bought a vinyl piece from him and took pictures of it and entered it into the contest, he's got like $400 gift cards to his shop there. So you could almost be getting that piece relatively free if you think about it that way. But that's gonna be cool, man. I hope there's I'm definitely doing one. I got a couple Barbarian Rage vinyl pieces, but that's a good little marketing thing, dude. I think you can get some really good pics of your stuff. I know Strafe tries to do that too. Oh God, I know. Don't put the pressure on me. They're probably gonna be crap, but I figure if I take like 700 pictures, maybe they'll pick one.
I know these aren't for sale, but I still wanted to be able to show these fuckers off, man. What a brilliant piece.
And you know what, dude? In that post right there, he's talking about the weapons and how much easier it is to 3D print the weapons as it is to mold and cast them. But as well as I do, dude, in those the weapons packs that he used to send, holy shit, dude. Like how many weapons has that dude molded and casted in his day? It is a lot, dude. So to have something 3D printed like that where he can just hit the button and go, I mean, fuck, what a godsend for him for something like that.
I love the journey this character has taken. I love going from a kit bash to this. This is just absolutely fantastic, man.
Dude, and the Frankenstalker, it's such a classic fucking character, bro. It goes together so well. The OG, and now that he's morphed it into a kind of a 2.0 version, it's so sick, dude. God damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, very sexy. And I believe you actually pulled this up because is this a new storefront? Physical storefront?
Who is it?
This is Outer Limits, Brunswick.
Oh, Outer Limits. So I believe this is in Pennsylvania. So Outer Limits, they're going to have a connection to Assembly Required in Philadelphia. Yes, that's why Eddie's doing some work with them. And apparently they are an indie toy shop over in Philly that's going to be close. I believe they're down the street from where Assembly Required is going to be. But they have, they're a shop that carries indie toys. I was talking to Eddie and he mentioned them. And I looked up, I was like, God, we're not even following them. So yeah, that should be cool.
I like this. All right, homie. That's what I've got for tabs here this evening.
Nice.
You got a giveaway piece there?
I do, dude. We're gonna do 3 giveaways. We're gonna do 3 spins.
Okay, I'm gonna sneak away for a second while you show them some of the prizes going on.
You do that. I'll be here. So the first one that we're gonna do, or not the first one that we're gonna do, but one of them out there, don't piece here in front of me. It's actually being sent directly to you from Plummet Customs. It is that Mr.T Tatooine crime boss is what that is. So that Mr.T figure that they released just a couple days ago, he's got the cape, super sick figure. That's the one we're going to give away last, but that's a carryover from last week as well. A couple other ones that we have. This one is their just completely clear ice Akbar 3.75 articulated at 5 points. Nice little bag, zippy on the bottom, but that's a sick figure. They have a ton of these in almost every flavor and character, but the ice ones are always cool. That one is super clean. And then next on the list is these the Metropolis figure. You can see right there, and then it's in the.
Who the heck made that Metropolis figure? That's hot.
Yeah, so this is Plastic Vomit. This is one of those DKE blisters with just the card in here. But yeah, Plastic Vomit. Bam, there you go. And there you go.
That's gorgeous, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. So Plastic Vomit again, dude. You know, I said a little something about them in the post, but I think everybody here absolutely knows about Plastic Vomit. If you don't know it, I mean, if you're already following them, then at least spread the word about them, man. But they do some really cool shit inside the scene. Besides making a bunch of figures, dude. I mean, that's a husband-wife team that's doing it full time. And have really aced it, you know, especially when we talk about, you know, 3D printing and stuff like that. I mean, they have a legit factory going on over there. But yeah, super cool figures. We're going to do 3 separate ones. The giveaway question was from Astro Toys. And they will win one of these Toys Alive sticker packs, plus a little something else. They're over in Germany, so we are going to make it worth our $1 to get a package over to them and see what we can find for them. So we'll hook them up with stickers, probably from everybody that's in the room here, and go from there. Yeah, all hail Plastic Vomit. I agree with that, 100%.
So first off, I'm just doing a last-minute scan of the post to make sure that we've gotten anybody. Typically, we try and collect these around like the dinner time, evening time of the show. So if we've missed you, great apologies. Please chime in. Now is your time. Let us know if we've missed giving you a number, and we can make sure that we assign you a number. And also, yeah, absolutely lovely people over at Plastic Vomit Customs. Sorry, man. Go ahead. Didn't mean to
Oh, no, I was just going to comment on Frank and he said the clam blisters are the best. They're very cool, man. I like them. In the sense that, you know, as a collector, you can either put that up and display it, or you can take it out and display the figure on its own. There's positives and negatives to both. It really comes down to what you want to collect. And, you know, probably at the end of the day, is it cool or not? And then you don't really care how it looks. But yeah, those are great, dude. I know that we've talked to a lot of people on the show here, artists who use that system, and you're basically just printing out the backer, sandwiching it in between the clamshell, and it gets a nice, clean presentation there. Oh, Fixed Temple, you don't have to do that. But if you do, we'll be happy to promote it and get it on out of here, man. Dude, that was a great interview, man. You know, sometimes we touch on stuff, and sometimes I don't know how to get to certain areas of kind of what we talked about, of like how people are really feeling about the scene and where it's going. But he took it, dude. Every time I stalled out, he ran with it. And I think we got some really good perspective on kind of how he does this thing there. Very cool.
I think there's definitely times that we end up bringing in individuals that are very personable, and as much as they maybe think that they're typically more introverted, they do a great job of masking up. And honestly, I would say this is a prime example, man, for sure, where Fixed Temple Homie, yeah, you masked quite well, friend. You come off extroverted. If you were a customer service agent, you rocked it. You crushed it. Um, if anything, a lot of the times, what's almost embarrassing, man, and I'm sure you can get this. Um, we're juggling a lot. We've seen a lot of different accounts in art. We don't want to ask things that we know they've probably had to answer 1,000 times. We don't want to necessarily ask things that will seem silly or stupid. But a lot of the time, these artists, they come in prepared to talk about their art and lay it out. Yeah.
It's great, man. You wish that you could kind of bottle these up and break it down into a 30-second thing and show that to everybody when someone wants to know what this place is about. Because it's a special thing about it before, about not only like being able to buy and collect stuff, but then showing up and meeting people on one, getting to chat with them a little bit. Like there's not a lot of things out there that you can really be passionate about and be a fan of, and then have that kind of access on top of it. And then some people were saying, dude, even without buying the toys, dude, like, sometimes I'll go to those shows and, not buy a lot, dude, but have a great time because you're just meeting the people. And at this point, it's just kind of seeing people again because, you run into them and then you run into them, at some other point in the year or another show. But it is, dude. And that what's kind of makes it. Yeah, it's definitely about the pieces, dude, and cool shit. Everybody likes that. But there's a lot more than just that, which makes the dynamics weird, dude. You make goals and intentions and everything gets all mixed up, man. And, and here we are talking about how fucking cool it all is. So weren't we giving stuff away? Is that what we were doing? The question was, how does I don't know the exact wording of it. How the piece made you feel. Let me pull that up real quick, and I'll just do that. So the question was, from Astro Toys, all the way from Germany, which toy, yours or someone else's, made you feel something you didn't expect, and what was it? So, talking about more than toys, dude, holy shit, man. Like, if you go and you read some of those answers, I know you read them because you gave them the numbers, but god dang, dude, if you don't know what why people do this, just read a handful of those answers and you'll find out real damn quick why people are so passionate about pieces and just kind of the scene in general, dude. It was very, very cool. That's it. So yeah, all right. Let's. How many did we get on there?
I collected 25.
25.
25 is what I ended up landing on.
All right. Well, the first one we'll give away is we'll do the Akbar first.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good luck.
They manage some of the cleanest ice figures. Number 7 is going to be going over to Super Terrible Toys.
Super Terrible Toys. Honestly, I personally can't pick just one. Every time I open a box from one of these insanely talented artists, it hits me in the feels because I can tell how much heart and soul and love goes into their art. Their work is definitely made with love, and I feel that love when I display each piece. Sorry if that's lame. That's not lame. That is exactly what we're talking about. That's a great win. I will send that to you, Lauren. Congratulations, man.
Lovely human, somebody very deserving. Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But that's exactly what kind of we're talking about. As far as sometimes you don't know why, man. You don't know what the connection is. You just open it up and you're just, you kind of got to sit there and look at it for a minute. Next thing that we got is the Metropolis figure. Remember, after this, we have the Mr.T crime boss, but this is the Metropolis carded figure.
I don't know why I like that so much. That figure is fucking hot, man. I don't know
it's cool, man.
It is about. It's cool.
Yeah, I remember when they first came out with those at Super 7, and they have a couple different versions. I think they have a glow and they have an all like kind of bronze. But yeah, that's a cool looking figure for sure. Good luck, everybody, on spin number 2. Oh, not number 1. The Dre dog, man. I know that's Dre.
It sure is, Dre.
Dre says, all the indie toys I stumbled upon back in 2019 and are currently seen today. Yeah. So, I mean, gosh, dude, you go back and look at 2019 and what was going on. And a lot of the same people are here, which is cool. So,
Dre is one of those ones I'm really grateful that I've gotten to know a little bit more over the years. And it's funny to me because they're one of those accounts that would have been like under the 1,000 we pulled up. They had just done the Mandalorian vehicles.
Yes, those were dope, man.
Crazy to see how far they've come and to get to know them even on such a deeper level.
Yeah, and his sculpting, dude. His sculpting is really cool, dude. You showed some stuff tonight from him, and dude, Dre's a gem, dude. Dre is a freaking gem, man. Super good dude. Last but not least, man, I don't have it in front of me because I don't have the piece that's going to be shipped to you directly from Plastic Vomit. Is the Mr. Tatooine Crime Boss figure. So that'll be the last giveaway for tonight. So good luck, everybody, on that one coming up. Oh, last one of the night. Thanks, everybody, for replying to the story, too. We got some great answers in there. Number 12. Who that?
Javaho. Of all folks, Javaho. Heck yeah.
Nice, dude. The wheel has been nice. The first time I saw Warlords of War 5.5 version of Clobber, and I realized I missed a limited run he did a few years prior. I knew I would never see one available on the secondary market. I think helplessness is the best way to describe a feeling of missing out on a piece for your collection. No shit, brother. And I've had that same feeling with Jevaho's pieces. There's the irony for you there. Is that, yes, brother, I know that feeling because I've encountered that feeling with your personal account numerous times, and I'm sick and tired of it. But congrats, dude. He actually won a while ago, and it was a small piece. I have to even see what it was. I think it was just a loose 3.75, but we'll get another package out to him. That'll be cool, man. Man, dude, look at the representation tonight. Canada, Belgium, Germany, California, I guess. You know?
I'm going to forget if I don't show this off either. Rokoma Shoe ended up actually leaving this. It was clever of them too. It backfired because I ended up not being able to. But they gave LM9 a little bag with some accessories and a head. So now I absolutely have to get one of these fucking Lost Barbarians and pop that equipment on there. And I don't remember if I ended up showing this or not. Grayskull ended up actually making this up for the Atomic Dead Zones. Had these on there. This was fucking smart, man. I liked this. There was even people there you could tell they were just curious about getting some of these, regardless of knowing anything about indie toys or any of that jazz.
Yeah. Fixed Temple says, me with Uncle discovered them after they stopped making toys. Yeah, and now they're grill pieces for me. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Getting into something after they stopped making them already. But yeah, I probably have a few like that as well.
Easily, like honestly, DNS ended up kind of dropping it in the comment there. I had a couple pieces from it today, and like if we're gonna talk about grailers, man, I've still got this piece down here because in my opinion, this is definitely a grailer. But when we talk about that black and white shelf, I'll never forget fucking Uncle Matty Rainbow Yawn when he was making these. Even he said he got a little bit excited the one day with all the blood and made a couple of them a little bit bloodier than he intended. Reached out to me and was like, hey, I've got a couple that are actually a little bit bloodier. Would you want one that's extra bloody? I was like, heck yeah, lay it on me. Then I ended up mentioning, like, is there anything different I can do for you? and you mention a rainbow yawn that you've got a black and white shelf, and suddenly you're the only one of the fucking rainbow yawn scare glows with a black and white cape, all black and white accessories. It's like this fucking toy scene, man. Anyways.
Real comments you do. There's I definitely, God, dude, I've been looking at those pieces for the longest time. That's another one that I get jealous of, dude, when I see those tables and I'm just like, God dang it, man. Like,
and that's just it. Knowing that the shipping even within Canada sucks. So seeing them on the table of LM9s is one of those things where you're kind of like, okay, I gotta get back to those. And then the weekend just ended up different than.
Yeah. Well, you made it, man. You made it. Next week, I think we got Jimmy Folklore next week, correct?
We do have Jimmy Folklore next week. You better have those fucking wizards ready, buddy. No, I'm just teasing, homie. But yeah, we got Jimmy Folklore coming in. I'm stoked on that because I ended up missing them the last time they were coming in. They are a genius when it comes to fucking toys, dude. So I'm excited about that.
The almanac, dude, and we have different people that we rely on for different stuff.
Right.
But when there's something just random, or you need to know what something is or where it came from or how it even came into an existence as a toy, 9 times out of 10, 9.8 times out of 10, Jimmy Folklore is the answer.
I don't know how they juggle it all too. I don't know how their brain retains that while they're raising kids, while they're working a job, while they're learning to cast. And
he's a teacher.
Well, I know how much you fucking. If you guys don't know this yet already, B secretly has just this thing for teachers.
100%. I absolutely do, dude.
Teacher fetish, 110%.
It's not a fetish, but it's my parents were both lifetime teachers, dude, and I know the struggle of teachers, man, and I know the shit that they deal with, and I think teachers out there are probably one of the most underpaid professions on the face of the earth, dude. When we look back and we realize what we're entrusting them and hoping that they do with our kids, but yeah, dude, I do have a soft spot for teachers. I'll tell you that, man. And there's a lot of them in this scene, dude. There's a lot of them at every level. Which is really cool to see, man. Teachers are the helpers, dude. That's
Good
always.
Teachers are fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like straight up, dude. Just like any human, right? Good teachers. We need good teachers. Anybody who's out there who's a good-hearted individual who's teaching, fuck yeah, man, rock it.
Jimmy Folklore is one of them.
Yep. And he looks a little bit like Shakespeare, which is fucking kind of cool.
Yes. Is that Bill Shakespeare over there? Huh? That's old Matt Foley from Saturday Night Live. That's what that is.
Jesus. All right, what do you say we let these yahoos get on with their evenings?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna go talk about car insurance right now. I'm looking forward to that.
Jesus, fuck yeah.
Damn it. See you next week, dude.
Yeah.
Great show. Thanks, everybody.